Live. Welcome, everybody. We are back. Wasn't sure if I was going to go live here on TikTok today. Was thinking about going live on Facebook and YouTube, but I decided to forget about Facebook and YouTube and just go live on TikTok. I don't know if you guys can hear that. The wind's blowing out there. And it's a windy day. It's nice and cool here in New South Wales, Australia. Everybody say hello. Give me a like. Hit those hearts for me. Let's get this thing moving. Let's get this thing rolling. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on that we need to talk about, right? So when you guys pop in, get some hearts going. I see somebody's in the chat. Who's in the chat? That's my wife who's in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, see, I can read the chat better, I think, from sitting here. I see the chat better here. What is this that's in my way here? Okay, not a problem. Yeah, see, if I had it up on the screen, it would be smaller there. So anyways, okay, so here we go, right? Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Ask me questions. What's going on here? All right, let's talk about things that people are talking about and people aren't paying attention to in the world when you're trying to or you are learning what's going on in the world. Some people are forgetting what it is that they're supposed to be doing. Okay, and yeah, share this out. Everybody, share this out. I didn't get to share this out, so share this out. People forgetting about what it is that they're here to do. They're supposed to be learning things, and sometimes what happens is we forget that because we're in a lower vibration. These people who think they own the place are making sure that you end up in that place. Keep you in fear. David, welcome. They keep you in fear. They keep you in a low vibration and keep you distracted so that you are easier to control. If you're living in a place of fear or if you're living in a low vibration, by being distracted all the time by so much stuff that you never have time to think about yourself or think for yourself, you're easier to control. This is a control mechanism that they're aware of, and they've been using this on you forever, but really intensely for at least the last 10,000 years. And then in the last 2,000 years, like, you have no idea, keeping you busy, keeping you distracted completely so that you have no idea what it is that you're supposed to be doing here or what it is that you're supposed to be striving to, right? So please ask questions in the chat if you guys have questions. Anybody who pops in, if you have questions about anything, spiritual questions, I will answer anything, even if it's about questions about what's going on in the world politically. Doesn't matter. It's what I'm here for. It's what I'm here to do. And I am channeling Archangel Samael. So if you have questions about that, ask those questions of Samael. Just be careful what you ask, because Samael is watching from Ireland. Brian, welcome, brother. Welcome from Ireland. I have a few friends over in Ireland. I have like 3 or 4 people that I talk to almost daily over in Ireland, one of which should be in here. David is here, it looks like. Is David here? Nope, David's not here right now. David is from Ireland. Peter's from Ireland, buddies of mine. I don't know if you know them. But welcome. What part of Ireland are you in, Brian? What part of Ireland over there? I used to work for that government. I worked for your government for 15 years. Not under this name, though, under a different name. Kildare. I've never been to Kildare. My family's I'm an O'Neill and an O'Rourke. My mother's O'Rourke. So the O'Rourkes are from Cork, and O'Neills were from Tyrone originally, and then they went to the south. Australia. I am in Australia. What part of Australia are you in, Ray? I'm in New South Wales. There's David. Welcome, David. There's one of my friends from Ireland right there. What's up, brother? How you doing today, Mr. David? And Australia, where are you from in Australia? I'm in New South Wales. I'm in Woy Woy, New South Wales. Thank you for the roses, guys. Smash those hearts, everybody. The way this works on TikTok is we all have to do that, right? Coffs Harbour. Okay, I'm in Woy Woy, New South Wales. I just moved here. I got married and I'm moving to Australia, or I moved here, and now I'm applying to stay here on a spousal visa with my wife, who's in the other room, who's in the audience. Brooke O'Neill in the audience is my wife and my sponsor. So I love this country. I was born in the United States, but I don't plan on going back unless I'm visiting family, because Australia is far better. Australia is what America was in the 80s. Right, cold weather in Ireland. Yeah, right now you guys are going in the winter in the in the north of the planet, going into winter. What was that? I froze for a second there. Oh, thank you. Who was that did that? That was Brooke. That was my wife that did that. Thank you for that. Who else was that? That was Merlin&Maeve. That's all right. You guys want to smash that Merlin&Maeve? Follow Merlin&Maeve. That's my wife and I's company. 5 degrees. 5 degrees. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's cold. It was yesterday here was 31. You're at 5, bro. That's cold. Yeah, that's getting cold over there. I know. When I talked to my sister, she's in America, in California, and when I talked to her, she had a jacket on. And she says, "Look at you, you're wearing shorts, and I'm wearing a jacket." I said, "I'm on the other side of the equator, man. We're down in the south." So yeah, that's funny, right? So everybody, welcome in, right? Yeah, we're going into summer. We're in the spring right now, Brian, and we're moving into summer. So it's getting warm over here. Right now it's cooler. I don't know what the temperature is right now outside. It's probably about 18, 19, maybe a little bit more than that. The wind's blowing, otherwise it would be warmer. But yeah, we're going into summer. You guys are going into winter. We're going into summer. So, um, how do I know that it's really an archangel? That's a good question. That is a good question. Um, how do I know that it is actually not like, say, the CIA or a demon or something like that? You actually learn. We actually teach this, right? Yeah, T-shirt weather, Brian. Um, so Infinity, we actually teach this. I've been doing this for. I'm 58. I've been doing this since I was about 8. Not channeling. I started channeling when I was probably about 15. We teach you, we're actually my wife and I are actually starting a course to teach people, and I've been teaching people this for a long time. We teach you to recognize the difference in energy, and it is a little difficult in the beginning for people to do that, but you eventually, after a little bit of training, it doesn't take much. When you get a hold of something that's evil, you know what it feels like, what it sounds like, what everything, the way it moves, and it doesn't take but one dark energy to in some way come in contact with you, for you to realize that that was evil and dark energy. And then from that point on, it actually becomes very simple to be able to figure out whether you're talking to somebody that is or not. However, Samael, to answer that question even more bluntly, yeah, please follow Merlin&Maeve. That's my wife and I's company logo. You can see there, that's our company that we have over here in Australia. And we're selling products, and we're selling stuff. We're actually having courses for Reiki, for defense against the dark arts, to teach you this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, over time you learn how to tell the difference. Then you can tell when you start communicating with your higher self, with your guides, and the like, that you'll learn the difference between positive and negative energy because of the direction where the energy comes in. When you're there, positive energy is always on your right side, and negative energy is always on your left side. So you can't change that at all, right? Um, some can disguise themselves really well as light bringers. No, see, you can only fool people in third dimension. You have to realize that. Okay. Third dimension, in this place, physicality, evil people can hide from you and act like they're not. Your instincts tell you they're evil, but your training says, oh no, trust them, it's okay, because you're trained from birth to just trust people, right? So, but when you get outside of the physical body of third dimension, it literally is completely different, in a way that when someone gets near you, you can tell whether they're good or evil, truly. And once you start to learn that here, that's one of the things you're supposed to learn here. You're supposed to learn first. You wake up here in third dimension, and it's I think, therefore I am. You're self-aware, so you're in this place, and you're veiled. You don't know anything else, and you're supposed to strive to moving towards upwards, towards learning who your higher self is. Once you start doing that, and you start moving into that place of I am, not I think, therefore I am, therefore I think, and you start actually talking to your guides, your higher self, and you start achieving that through meditation or prayer or the like, then it becomes very simple to learn the difference between whether you're talking to an evil energy or a or an evil energy or good energy, or beyond that. The truth is, what you guys call archangels are different than you think, but down here, because people are very religious, they've seen these entities. And Team Indigo, what's up, brother? There's Bo. How you doing, brother? So people down here perceive them coming from a higher realm, and they realize that they are, and they start calling entities angels and archangels. So in truth, they're not. They're just a higher being in a higher place, but you guys perceive them down here as angels and archangels. So there is a definite difference in the feeling of the energy. But once you start to learn how to do that, it's actually very easy to tell the difference. You can see it in life when you're just walking around life. You know, when you look at somebody, whether they're evil or whether they're not, because you can just see it. It's not, it doesn't take much for your instincts when you look at somebody and go, yeah, that guy, ooh, yeah, I don't know about that guy. There's something wrong with that guy or whatever, right? But it's easier for them to fool you here and pretend that they're not evil. People that are self-serving do that all the time. People that are in service to others never try to hide who they are. They just are who they are. So the truth is, when you're dealing with self-serving people here, you can actually learn that pretty quickly. The way people speak, we actually teach that to you so that you can identify that. And it's actually not very difficult. Right. So yeah, that's if you guys look, the Merlin&Maeve, there's Bo. What's up, Bo? Um, yeah, the Merlin&Maeve is our business. So you guys smash on that for us and follow that. I'll be going live there as well. My wife and I'll be going live on that over there. But welcome in everybody. If you guys, you like the shirt, thank you. Thank you. Actually, Brooke picked this out for me this morning. I had a different T-shirt on. She said, "You're not wearing that T-shirt when you go live." I said, "Okay, I'm not, but I'll change it." I was just gonna grab another black T-shirt. She pulled this out and said, "Here, put this on." And I said, "Okay." So I put this on. So thank Brooke for that. Right? I like this shirt too. I have a couple of these in different colors. But so I'm comfortable in this. I've worn this shirt live on stage, talking and channeling live on stage. So Samael likes this shirt because of the darkness of it. So he, every time I channel him, he would rather that I wear something black or this. He likes that. So that's why I'm doing that today. So, right. Yeah. So you guys ask me questions, and I'll just keep talking about everything that's going on in the world. Welcome in. If you guys aren't not sure what's going on, look at the description. I am channeling Archangel Samael. That's why I put that picture that side on my screen. I don't know where it is on your screen, but on my screen, it's over there. That's why I put that up there. That's his dark side. He also has a light side because he is a dual aspect. That's one of the things that you guys don't realize about the archangels. Most people who know about archangels don't even realize that they have a light and a dark side, that they are actually dual. Not all of them claim to be, and not all of them like it. But when the creator decided to create this place, they decided to do that. Brooke says, "What about those who are 3D but are are waking up and confused when it comes to what they're supposed to be doing?" If that's what you're asking, or it depends on what you're asking exactly, 100%. But I would say for those people who are confused and they don't understand what's happening, either for the ability to discern the difference between negative and positive energies, you should ask somebody who knows. There are many people out there. My wife and I teach a course on this. If you guys are interested, get in contact with us, and it'll be a Zoom course, so you guys could actually learn from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are. If you would like, we teach a course on this. But if you don't want to learn from us, you should find somebody who knows the difference that you vibe with, and then ask them, and they can help work with you to help you to understand the difference between good and evil people or energies, and to identify the good. Because you guys don't realize this, but you're out in the world every day, and you're exposing yourself to good and evil people and energies all over the planet as you're running around in your normal day. And if you're somebody who is a little bit higher in energy as far as being in service to others, you're going to get people that are going to be attached to you. They're going to see you disembodied, whatever. Some people who are dead and don't know they're dead, or some people that aren't dead and are lost. And then you can have negative energies. They're going to see your light, and they're going to attach themselves to you, and they're going to follow you home. They're going to follow you in your life because they're following you. So they'll follow you home. And if they're negative, if they're evil, then they're going to cause problems in your life, and you won't even know that they're there, and you won't even understand what's happening to you. That does happen. It happens a lot more than people think. Anyone that's in any way spiritual, that's not in a Orthodox religion, because they don't teach you this in Orthodox religion, hardly at all, until something bad happens, and then all of a sudden, if you're a Christian, they're calling the Roman Catholics, and they're bringing somebody over to to exorcise a demon away from you or something. And now there's other people in the Baptist religion and a few others, I think, that are doing it as well now. It's becoming more popular again to where they're not afraid of it. But originally it was just the Romans who were doing it, even though it was the Hebrews who started doing it first. The Roman Catholic Church picked it up in the early 300s, and they continued in the Roman Catholic Church to even to the modern day with exorcisms and things like that. So usually if things go bad and they can't exorcise somebody, they'll call a Roman Catholic. And there's a whole sect, a whole group of Roman Catholics that's what they do, right? Is go around and help people with that. So the church knows it's a thing. They just don't tell you about it. Like when you go to church, they're not talking about that when you're in church. But they know it's a thing. I know that. I was knighted by the Holy Roman Catholic Church, and I'm a minister in the Roman Catholic Church and in the standard Christian church, because I went to the Universal Life Church of Phoenix, Arizona, and got my ministry through them. I'm also a Merlin that I got when I was 19. I got that title when I was 19. And for those of you that are down here, down under, I'm listed in the Jedi Temple in New Zealand as a Jedi Master. Right, so not just a Jedi Knight, but a Jedi Master. So I have that title as well. Sorry, there's trains that go by down the street, and they honk down the street, and so you guys might hear that horn every now and then while I'm on here, because I have the windows open in the office here. So yeah, ask questions if you guys have questions. If not, I'll just keep continuing to talk about what's going on in 3D. So you guys are supposed to figure out, and if you guys have questions for Samael, well, otherwise I'll just start letting him talk because he's wanting to say words. You guys are supposed to be figuring out what it is that's going on here. You're supposed to learn these things as long as or as well as your general education that you guys have going on. You're supposed to be learning that stuff. Like I said, hit those hearts, please, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm okay with answering questions. Right? I'm okay with that. You guys, some people are timid and they're afraid to ask a question, but ask a question, right? So what is Brooke saying here? Yeah, what questions do you have for Archangel Samael? Yeah, ask those questions. Don't be afraid of that. Ask any question that you have. Welcome in, right? Island times, welcome in. Is that New Zealand? Island times NZ, right? So yeah, what questions do you have for Archangel Samael? Ask them. Archangel Samael is just sitting here saying, somebody asked me a question. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, and I will answer them. And be careful what you ask for, though, because he's going to be honest. He's very honest and very blunt. He doesn't suffer fools. So if you ask a question, he will answer it for you, and he will answer it truthfully. You will not get a lie. You will not get anything like that coming from him. Apollo, welcome. Right? Goku, right? Okay. Yeah, give us a question and we'll give you an answer. So literally what you're supposed to be doing is learning how to do this stuff. And people don't normally learn this stuff right away. And they're keeping you from that. The people who think they own this world are keeping you from learning this information that you're supposed to be learning. They're distracting you with everything. Everything is a distraction. This place distracts you anyways. But then there's the distraction, right? That keeps that, right? Let's see. I have a question. Angel, I am a spiritually strong, right? That door, what was that? That door, did it just close? Yeah, it did. That was my wife closing that door. Either that or the wind. I think it was my wife closing the door. How can you learn it? If you're talking about channeling, you can learn that from people who actually can teach you how to channel. We're actually doing that. You thought it was a ghost. I know I did too, because I didn't see her grab the door. I just saw the door moving on camera, and I looked up. But yeah, I believe it was my wife, because it didn't slam. If it was just not my wife, she would have done that, right? The cat wanted in the house. That's what it was. So she was closing the door, because the cat will come in here and climb up. So the cat wanted in, so she was closing the door so she could let the cat in. So getting back to the question, pardon me. If you're asking how do you channel, how you learn how to do that. There are those of us who know how to channel, and we actually teach people how to channel, because you have to learn, just like the question earlier that we had of how do you know that you're actually channeling an archangel and not, a demon or something. We teach you how to identify that. And then usually if you're going to channel somebody, that somebody's already waiting for you most of the time. If you came here with the ability, or you were supposed to channel somebody, or you decide you want to channel someone, that person is going to be there waiting for you. And you're going to end up channeling who you're supposed to channel. Okay. I'm channeling Archangel Samael because I am Archangel Samael in a higher plane. Okay. So I'm not channeling an entity that is not someone that's familiar to me. The first person you can channel is yourself. Yes. That's my wife, Brooke, in the audience. And her and I teach this. So the first person that you can channel will be your higher self. Okay. And then you will at that point, if you want to channel someone else, then you will actually get in contact, or that entity will get in contact with you. But the first person that you can channel will be your higher self. Okay. So then you can find out your own higher self name, right? My higher self, I am Kelto. You learn that by asking your higher self once you get in contact with your higher self. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff that we actually teach you if you want to learn that. There's other people out there. It's not just me doing that, right? Yes, everyone needs to. Selma said, I need to channel my higher self. All of us are supposed to actually do that. We're supposed to get in contact with our higher selves, and because we're supposed to move into that, right? Zarla says, hi, did you check out J era X? What is that? Sorry, the chat's moving. Exis by any chance? No, I haven't done that yet. I'm going to have to make a note of that, Zarla, and actually do it. I haven't had time to do that, and I apologize for that. Things have been kind of busy for my wife and I, right? So what is this? What is this here? Hold on, is that another question? You made mention of bad soul following you in 3D. Tell me about how to avoid that. Yes, the well, Selma, we can actually get into that if you like. How to do that is you have to do that through meditation and things like that. So let me get back to Jake's question. So Jake, when you're out in the public, that just happens. People energy will connect itself to you, and sometimes it will, like somebody who doesn't like you or whatever might send bad energy at you, right? But you pick this up just by being in public. If you're around somebody who's negative, they may have other negative energies following them around, and you just happen to be standing in line at the store with some guy who's evil, and you know it, and you look at him and go, that guy's just like mad at the world, and then all of a sudden you have negative energy that's following you that came from that person. We pick it up in public wherever we're at. We don't know it sometimes that we pick it up. Okay. So it does happen, and you have to learn to identify it. Okay, here's some of the ways that are obvious. Say you have a house, and your house is like your sanctuary, and it's always peaceful and it's always quiet. Even if you're married, you have a spouse or friends or roommates, and you guys all seem to get along all the time, then all of a sudden one day you notice that everybody's arguing with each other and having a bad day, and nobody seems to be getting along, and you're like, what's going on? Everybody seems to be annoyed, or you don't even notice it, and everybody's arguing with one another, and that just kind of keeps going for a couple of days. And most people just go, well, people just argue sometimes. Pay attention to that, because if you clear out the energy in the house, you'll see that the energy changes. Why did that change? Well, because you hit a reset for everybody. Everybody is now, smudged or whatever. But the negative energy that was, for whatever reason, affecting all of you will go away. That's how you identify that, is something is different than it was prior, and you can feel that there's something that's going on. Your life seems to be going the wrong way, something like that, right? My favorite TikTok, hands down. Thank you, Heather. I love you, Heather. Because I actually, give you guys real answers, right? More truth bombs, right? I'm here to do that and give you guys the truth of what's happening, and not be cryptic, not be hiding, not be holding back, and trying to make it so that you can actually understand what's going on. The walls can hold energy too. This is my wife saying that clearing and cleansing is a great thing. So truly, in a place, if you go somewhere, hotel, or you move into a brand new house, or a brand new apartment or whatever, wherever you are, brand new flat, whatever it is, you move into that, the energy can be stored there from past people who live there or from the land itself. You have to be aware of these things. What is the house built on? Is it sacred land of some sort? Is it a burial ground? Are you in an area that's really old? Like if you're in Europe, you could be living in an area that they fought all kinds of wars and stuff in that area. That energy could be could be there, and you're unaware of it, and it's just the place has negative energy because of so much that has so much history that's there. A lot of the energy gets attached to places and it echoes, right? And so it'll echo and it'll affect you. Smudging, yes, Marcella, smudging with white sage. There's many different ways that you can smudge. White sage is the best, especially if you're in North America. White sage, I love white sage. I have 5% native. I know I don't look, I look very European, because I am. Thank you for that. Whoever that was, Heather gave me that. Thank you, Heather. So yeah, there's other ways you can sage. You can use almost any incense, but white sage is really good. Palo Santo. I always say that backwards because of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Palo Santo is really good. And then some sages the churches use, like frankincense, myrrh. Patchouli is used in the East. That's why a lot of people don't like patchouli, but it's used to keep negative energy away. So if you walk into a shop that's owned by someone who is from the Middle East and they're spiritual, they will be burning incense. They're doing that to keep negative energy out. And a lot of times you'll have that pungent smell of patchouli that people don't like. But in the West, I love patchouli. I love dragon's blood. I don't have any here, but I usually have dragon's blood that I'll actually put the oil on my nose so that as I'm inhaling, I smell dragon's blood. I love that. Singing bowls, any frequency noise, yes. You can, there's many, we're going to be teaching this. This is a course that we're going to be having on a Zoom course coming up. We haven't set the date yet. We think it's going to be the first or second week of December, maybe. Don't quote me. My wife's in the audience. She'll go, dude, what are you doing? But we are going to do a Zoom class, if anybody's interested, on called the Defense Against the Dark Arts. We don't have that information up yet, but we will have it up in the next day or two so that you guys are aware. But it will be a Zoom class that you guys can attend. We just haven't set the price for it yet. It's going to be a 2-day course, a Saturday and a Sunday, here in Australia, by the way, because we're in Australia. 13th and 14th, there we go. 13th and 14th of December, we're going to do a Zoom class where we're going to teach you guys all of what we're talking about now and what you can do, and teach you how to do that to push negative energy away and protect yourself, cleanse your house, cleanse your vehicles, cleanse yourself, cleanse your animals, cleanse your environment, teach you how to do that, set up borders, set up boundaries, how to smudge, how to do all these things, how to protect yourself, how to reflect negative energy back to whoever it is that's sending, or just back to the universe, how to protect your family, all of that stuff that everybody used to know on this planet, and it was being taught every day by people, pardon me, by people on this earth in every religion. And then a while ago, a couple thousand years ago, was taken away from you. Yes, when did you say that Zoom was again? I'm sorry, I missed that part. The 13th and the 14th of December, Heather, is when we're going to be doing that. Yeah, that's going to be a Zoom. It's going to be a Zoom 2-day class. I think we're going to do at least 4 hours a day. We haven't just, we're putting together our curriculum now for that. It's going to be at least 4 hours a day for 2 days. So it'll be an 8-hour course, or maybe a 10 or 12-hour course total. And it's going to be very comprehensive, and it's going to be like a lot of general education. So you're going to get a lot of information, more than what I'm giving you now. So if anybody wants to do that, follow us, right? Follow the live creator. Who is that? Awakened Heart. Thank you for doing that. Smash those hearts for me, and hit the likes for me, so we can get those numbers up, because that's the way TikTok is. You have to have those numbers, right, for everything. Yeah, Defense Against the Dark Arts, the 13th and 14th of December. There you go. My wife's pinning that for you. And that will be on Zoom. You will not have to download Zoom if you don't want to. You can go online to Zoom and join the meeting online. So a lot of times Zoom's going to try and get you to download it on your phone. You don't have to. You can go online to zoom.com, and then we'll give you a link for it, and that link will tell you the passcode and the thing for it. Okay. More info at, if you guys look on the screen, you'll see that Merlin&Maeve. That's our TikTok, Merlin&Maeve. That's our business. We have that on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That is our business account. That's where that's going to be going through. So if you guys are interested in learning more about the defense against the dark arts, pop into there and follow that. Light and love is the ultimate protection. Yes, it is. The if you greet negative energy with the love and the light of the infinite creator, that is the greatest barrier that you can use to do that. Absolutely, that's it. But you have to actually believe it too. You have to actually have faith. BC, my book arrived today. Stoked to check it out. Thank you, BC. Right, I love you for buying my book. If you guys are looking, you can see in the background. I wrote a book about this. It's called the Reality About Reality: Returning to the Old Ways. You can look that up. It's under my name. It's on sale worldwide, everywhere. You can have it shipped to you wherever you are in the world. You could also get it on ebook if you don't want to have the hard copy. But it talks about this, right? $16 Amazon. There you go. Look at that. 16, but you must be in America. $16 Amazon. You're in either America or America, UK, or Australia, because that's where they're the cheapest. I think Australia was a little bit more. Why is it so hard for people to understand? Oh, Texas. Yeah, see, that's why, because I published it in America. Why is it so hard for people to why is it so hard to get some people to understand love and light? This place is a distraction. Okay. This place is a distraction, and it's designed to keep you from knowing that information. And then you have 1% of the population who thinks they own this world, and they own all the television stations and everything, and they're actually putting information there to keep you distracted. So they discourage you basically from learning this stuff that you're supposed to learn. So they keep you from learning that. So that's why most people don't understand it, because the churches don't really teach it, because they're also controlled from the top. And I am a minister, so don't think that I'm coming from the standpoint of somebody who's an atheist or something. I am a minister in 4 different religions, right? So everything, this place in and of itself, the matrix itself is designed to distract you. It's a trap of the mind. Its job is to try and trap you. That's the way the creator created it. So because of that, it starts out that way. And then if people understand that this place works that way, they can use it to their advantage to keep you even more stuck. And that's actually what's happened here. People are using that to their advantage to keep it even more stuck, keep you even more stuck. And then they distract you. Everything that they give you on all of the networks, on all of the channels, on all of the internet, it's all designed to have you go swipe, and you spend all your day doing that, and you get distracted. So you don't realize what's happening, right? I know this is a distraction, but what does that say? Let me scroll back up there. I know this is a distraction, but some are so distracted. Yeah, you have to realize that everybody is in a different place. The way this place works is when you're first self-aware, right? Some people are very closed-minded, Heather, because when you're first self-aware, you don't know anything, and you're here for like the first, second, third lifetime or whatever. Those people are very third dimensional, and then and they can't know, so they're not aware and ready. And then the people that are negative, evil, they're living in third dimension, and they don't want to have any part of it. It's so scary how many people are unaware how complicit they are. Well, that's because they're actually, it's not really their fault. I mean, if you look at, say, Jesus, I don't know if you're religious or spiritual. Jesus, even on the cross 2,000 years ago, said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." They're veiled. Everyone is veiled. You start off veiled, and you have no idea what's going on. So what happens is people become complacent and complicit with what's going on, because they're choosing to be in search of money, power, fame, clicks, likes. So to do that, you have to live in the flesh and not in the spirit. So to live in the flesh means that you love this place, and that's how they get so complicit, because they want money. They want money, they want power, they want fame, and that's where you're selling your soul to the devil. I mean, there's no real contract that you sign with some entity. I know that because, being Samael is actually the what you guys call the devil, and the angel of death. So, Samael's like, I'm not sitting around signing contracts all day, right? So you sell yourself to be, you give up the light to be ego, to be in this place to make a lot of money. And you can see those people are very self-centered and very ego, but it's necessary. They serve a role. It's very necessary for that, right? Is that Becky? Becky followed the live. Thank you, Becky, for following. Ash Cat also followed. Thank you guys for following. I love you guys. Hit those, smash those hearts, champions. So if you want to hear real knowledge, smash those hearts. I'm going to give you the real truth of what's going on in this world. Just ask me questions. Was he involved with Lilith? Yes, Lilith is my wife. He was married to Lilith, still is married to Lilith. Lilith is currently in the other room. Brooke, she's in the audience with you, and she's on Merlin&Maeve and Brooke O'Neill. That's my wife right there. She is what, I can't point at her because I'm backwards. She is the soul that is Lilith and was Lilith, that you guys know as Lilith. That is her. And without a joke. So her and I have been together since we were created by the Creator. So we're looking at trillions of years ago, and we have been here on this earth to help you guys for a very long time. My questions have questions, right? Ask them, right? Can you tell, how do I escape from reincarnations? Reincarnations are actually there for you to learn the things that you're supposed to learn. However, in this place you have gotten stuck. How you graduate from that and stop reincarnating over and over is actually more simple than you think. You just have to learn the things that you were supposed to learn here. Introduce yourself through either meditation or prayer to your higher self. Realize you are not the pain body. You are not the thinking mind. You are not the ego. You're not the conscience. You are the witnesser. You are the entity that is forever, that is not in this body, that is only occupying this body as an avatar. And once you start to realize that, you realize you're I am. I am, because first when you're here, it's I think, therefore I am. Then you have to learn that I am, therefore I think. I am an immortal soul. I am a higher being. And once you get to that place and stay in that place, then it's easier for you to then realize what you're supposed to learn. And once you've learned all that, you can leave when you're ready to leave. I think I'm a new soul. Goku, if you the only way that you can tell whether you're a new soul is that you need to start thinking. If you're a new soul and you're still in here, you're probably not a new soul. Okay, if you're in here and you're listening to me, because if you're a new soul, you would think I'm crazy and you wouldn't want to have any part of it. So if you're in and you don't already think I'm crazy, you're not a new soul. You've been here before. Let's see. Big says they try to spin the story of Samael and Lilith as evil. Well, yes, they do. They are in the strictest sense supposed to represent that darkness, but they're not actually. Everything serves the all. So the aspect that is the darkness of Lilith and Samael has been perceived as evil because they are very much doing what God told them to do, but they're not actually evil. So that is true to that. That is part of the cover up. Yeah, it is. Because I mean, if you think about it, Lilith was the first one that was created. She said, hell no, I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm not going to cook your food for you. And God said, according to the story, get out, and then created a subservient female. So Lilith embodies that power of the individual, right? Whatever you want to call it, strength of a woman. Penn says there is no angels or archangels. It depends on what you perceive. Down here, the perception of the spiritual is that there are angels and that there are archangels. When you get up high enough to be in those entities, in those bodies, in that, you would be considered an archangel by the lower beings, but you are just light energy and either love or anger. So the truth is that, right? Where do we learn about Lilith? Archangels are Anunnaki. No, the Anunnaki doesn't even exist, bro. Penn, the Anunnaki, you should research that a little bit more. The Anunnaki is actually the Anunnaki is a mistranslation of a translation of the Enuma Elish by Zechariah Sitchin in 1948. And the word is not Anunnaki. The word is Anunnah. Next word, ki. And Anunnah means the priest or the priestess came, not a god, not the god Anu. You can look that up. It's all over the internet. But if you listen to the ancient aliens people who are using that to make money these days, Giorgio Tsoukalos, who's a friend of mine, used that and said, he went from the God Anu came to Earth, and that's what he said the translation was, to those from the heavens, so it became an entire species. So what you know as the Anunnaki is actually nothing. There is no race of beings called the Anunnaki. Anunnaki means from heavens to earth came. No, it doesn't. That's a wrongful translation. The word Anu would refer to, even if you translated it exactly word for word, the word Anu would be a god, would be the god Anu, because they were talking about the god Anu, which was a Greek god. So the word ki does mean comes, but the word na put in there is not silent. So when you put the word Anu na to that, it means sub god. It doesn't mean God. If it was just Anu and that word Na wasn't there and it was Anuki, that would mean the God came from heaven to earth. So the word Anunnaki, so it's two words, Anunna, and the word ki means God, sub-God. Like as if Roman numeral 10, if you wanted to do 9, you put a 1 next to it. If you take the 1 away from it, it becomes 10. So if you put the 1 next to it, it becomes 1 less than 10. So God, 1 less than God. Na means sub-God, not God, priest or priestess. That's actual. You can look that up on the scholars who actually translated that language. But History Channel has ran with it, right? Where do we go when we sleep? It's a great question, Rhonda. I love that question. Your soul has other things to do. When this body needs to hibernate, you leave this body and you go to other places to do other things because you're an immortal soul and you do not need sleep. So you leave from here, and sometimes you go to the Akashic Records, the halls of Amente, whatever you call that place of learning, and you research, or you go and do things depending on how high your energy is. If you're a being that has come here from a higher plane, you do things like heal the earth, work with the nature, things like that, or you go into one of your other bodies that is awake and you tune into that other body that's awake and you learn things. So you leave this body and you go and do other things, and that will be determined by you and your higher self of what exactly you do when your body is sleeping. But even people that are here for the first time go somewhere else and do things, because your immortal soul doesn't never sleep, doesn't need sleep, isn't hungry, never gets cold, never gets too hot, never has diseases, none of that stuff. Do you believe in other aliens? Yes, big. There are other people from other planets that exist. I came here from Orion's belt to come to this area to help you guys in this planet, on this planet, and the other the other 22 solar systems in this area of the Milky Way galaxy, that those people that you guys call the Anunnaki, which were calling themselves the Orion Crusaders, they were trying to take the place over. Did you find in research Vishnu and Samael are the same entity? Yeah, well, actually, they are. They are actually the same. Samael Morningstar, love the name. They are actually the same entity because they represent the same thing. They're also the Christ. They're also Thor. They're also Marduk. It's all the same entity that is the same savior character or antagonist character or both. So they are actually the same. Vishnu is Samael. Vishnu is the same character in the same way in that religion. Just the people from every single religion name them something that is more synonymous with the language and the culture. So that's why you get like, Yahweh, Thor, Vishnu, different places, Marduk, different names for that savior character or whatever. Everyone has their own opinion on these things, it seems. Truly, because of JC, because of I like that JC Essence. That's a good name with the rainbow there. Jesus Christ Essence, the Christ consciousness. I love that. So literally you're supposed to have your own opinion on all of this stuff until you hit a certain plateau in your development, and then you start to realize that the information that you gain from the universe is identical, and then you start realigning with everyone else. Goku says souls do die if we don't wake up, but our spirits don't. Your soul is really if you're saying your soul is your physical body, and then your spirit is your eternal body. Your soul, your physical body does die, but your eternal body never does die. How do I control my soul in my dreams? Ooh, that's good. That's shamanistic training. You need to become self-aware in your dreams. I've had that shaman training as a Merlin We have that shaman training, and I am 5% native. I know I don't look it. First thing you need to do is start daydreaming and change things in your daydreams and get used to manifesting things and changing things in your daydreams. And then in your night dreams, become conscious of the dream, but don't exit the dream, and start changing things and manifesting things that you need in your dream. And that will help you to control everything. And that also is the training that will help you for when you spirit walk or when you do astral projection when you're awake. It'll help you for your perception. Is that why you block people who know things? Me, I don't block people who know things. The only people that I block are trolls. So I'm not sure if that's what you're saying and what you're asking. Mental health issues is that battle between awake selves and other versions of our soul. Yes, Heather, if the people who have multiple personality disorder or even the bipolar, that is actually a PTSD because of being stuck here so long on this earth. You guys have been stuck here for almost 70,000 years now. It's a very long time without graduating, and that starts to bleed over into the different lives that you've had, sometimes forward, sometimes past, and you start to think that they're individual entities. And then you start going, oh, I have these voices in my head and they're telling me things. Those voices are actually you in another lifetime. And you're just so tired that you have this PTSD. And that's what that is. The science won't tell you that. They'll say, here, you need medication. If you're American, they put you on drugs. Otherwise, they'll try to work with you. And once you integrate those, they go away. And psychiatrists know that. And so they'll start to integrate that. But they don't take the part of spirituality and try to tell you to get knowing who your higher soul is. Hurton says, do we or do would you believe in flesh and blood bringers? What are we saying here? Blood bringers, or in beings that made nothing? Would you believe in flesh and blood beings, are beings that made or nothing of nothing? No, if you're saying they made humans out of mud, no, we were just made out of the same things that we're creating, and that word was translated wrong. When they say in the different stories of the God sagas where they took and made people out of dirt or out of mud, that's actually meaning that they were made out of the same building blocks. That's the 666. I can get into that later. Hurton says, do you believe that the Lilith you've never seen is around? The Lilith, if you're talking about the entity that was Lilith, that people, yes, Lilith is actually in the other room. Lilith, the soul that is Lilith and was Lilith, is sitting in the other room. I'm married to her. Truly. Yeah. So that entity is around. That entity is there. That entity is the embodiment of the what you guys now call the Sophia, the embodiment of Mary Magdalene, who is the strength of the feminine. Before probably believe in Lemuria too, right? Lemuria, I guess, was when they said Pangea. Lemuria was a continent that was in the Pacific Ocean that people lived on before the flood, before the waters rose. There is some evidence that it was. If you ask the islanders that are living there are just the tips of the mountains that are currently there. Those people say that there was an entire landmass that was there at one point before the water rose. But I've never been there, so I don't know. Can you believe in Atlantis too? Atlantis actually was a place if you don't know it by Atlantis, or you don't think Atlantis was real, then if you listen to the Greeks and all of the Vikings, they called it Hy Brasil. The English still today call it Hy Brasil. And that was an island that actually was a land also that sank when the rained for 40 days and 40 nights, the water level rose over 300 feet in less than a month on this planet. And it sank a lot of stuff, and people said that just wasn't true. But now we're finding cities that are underwater, that are 400 and 500 feet underwater, that date back to the exact time that people said, like Sodom and Gomorrah, the cities that Shiva lived in, that people said is fable. It's not true. It's just in that book only. They found that city. They found two cities that Shiva lived in, and they're about 400 feet underwater. Sumerian tablets can be proven that they're real in the museums. Yes, Burton, you're absolutely right. The Sumerian tablets are real, and and that is part of a language, that cuneiform. I am a minister, and I'm a theologian. My entire life has been studying religion and spirituality. Thank you. Who did that? Whoever did that, thank you very much. Was that Michelle? Michelle, thank you for that. Press those hearts, champions, and follow me. Everybody follow me. So, um, who are you exactly? I am Samael. I am Kelto. Kelto is my higher self. I am a Patal. And my wife, who is out there, who is Lilith, she is Satari. And we were created when the Creator created the first beings. We were created, and we have been in this universe since the beginning. There are many of us that are that high up. Most of you here are close to that high up already. You just don't remember it. Most of you came here to help. So who am I exactly? I am Kelto. That is the highest self of myself before I go back to the Creator. Below Kelto, in that Archangel quote unquote range, I am Samael. Okay, so I don't know if that makes any sense to you. It might scare you guys. Thank you for that. Sorry, Michelle, right? You human or not? Yes, I am. I was born in this body. I am human. I did not fly here in a spaceship. The soul that is in occupying this body is not from here, but this body is mine. I came here legally. When my parents, when my father's sperm inseminated my mother's egg, this soul that is in this body came down here and went in and gestated and was born this person. Okay. How do we find out who we really are? That's a great question, Rhonda. You meditate on that, or you pray. It depends on what you know spiritually. And you start to realize, you tell yourself, I am not the thinking mind. I am not the pain body. You can buy my book. It tells you a little bit about it in my book. It's called The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways. It's here in the background, also over here in the background. Sorry, I'm backwards. So you can look there, or you can look online for that. You can literally start saying and realizing to yourself, I am not this, that I am something more, and start researching that spirituality, and that will lead you to that. Or talk to, find people. My wife and I are going to be conducting courses on that coming up in the new year. So follow us on Merlin&Maeve, or follow me, and look for that stuff on our things. Right? I'm talking about your origin. My original form is light energy. That is my original form. I am energy. I am a being that no longer lives in the physical unless I come back to the physical and insert a fraction of me, a piece of me, just like you are doing now, but you just don't know that. So yeah, I am not, my original form has always been energy, because I was one of the first created. So all of the first three energies that were created in the different levels were all energy, and it wasn't until later that they had started having a physical body, and then the lower forms were created, and then the energy that is your soul, which is light, is inserted. So you truly are light as well. You just are not aware of it yet until you expand your consciousness to realize that you are forever, and the forever body is the spirit body, which is light, which is energy. What do you recommend for meditation? Meditation is usually a independent thing. What feels good for you when you do that? You have to find what your body likes, because you have to turn everything off. Turn off your phone. Don't even leave it on silent. Turn it off. Sometimes you might want to learn to set the mood with incense, maybe music. It depends on what you like and what your body likes. Quiet. Some people just want silence to do it. So you have to figure out what it is that you like to do, and then you reflect and think and allow your mind to, you have to learn to quiet your mind so that you can then move to a different place. So you might have to have some guided meditations, which we will be making and putting online, but they're out there now, so you could learn that stuff and see if you find something that you like. Can you feel other souls' energies without them being present? Yes. Do you recognize old souls? Yes. Yes to both of those questions. You can learn how to do that yourself as well. But yes, most people, if you're still here, Heather, and you're asking questions, your soul's older than you think. All right, hold on. I have to do the puzzle piece so that Facebook doesn't think that I'm a robot. So hold on, they're making me do two, and it's saying they were unable for me to do it. Why are they unable for me to do it? I'm actually putting it exactly where they want here. There we go. Sorry about that. I had to do the puzzle piece so that they would think that I was not a robot. So what is this? Lich Blinger and Trinitat. Um, so yeah, okay. So Lightbringer. Yeah, you have to realize that those are different names. Most of the names that we have here are representations for the same entities. Just like I was saying before, like the savior character is in every single religion. People, they're fighting over who the savior is when it's actually the same entity. Like Thor and the story of Thor and what Thor did is exactly the same story of what Jesus did. It's exactly the same story of what Marduk did. It's the same story of what Moses did. They all did the same thing. There's that exact same storyline of the descension to earth, the death and the resurrection and the sacrifice and the healing and all of that, including turning water to wine and healing people and bringing people back from the dead and walking on water. If you look at the different religions, that happened at least 16 times on this earth alone. Does frequency sounds help with meditation? If it resonates with you, yes. I like sound for meditation. Some people don't, but frequency, we are frequency. Everything in the universe resonates at a harmonic resonance. So that's why the Om. Is there evil? Yes, there is evil. It's a choice of whether or not you want to be self-serving or not. That evil works from zero. Actually, a third dimension is where you choose or not to. From third dimension to halfway through the sixth dimension, there is evil because it's a choice that people have. And it's because it's ego, and it's designed that way to round out this experience by the creator. I don't know if that helps. If you want any more clarification, ask more questions. I have to have sound when I meditate, otherwise I have a hard time. See? So Big Wobble right there says that. Is it Wabbit? Big Wabbit? Big Wabbit hole. Oh, I love that. 777. Big Wabbit, right? Are you a pescally Wabbit? Right? That's funny. I love that. So see, some people have to have the sound. Some people don't. It depends on you and what your physicality and what your soul feels. Some people need smell. Some people need a vibration. Some people need all of that. Some people need nothing, and they just need to sit under a tree in nature and all of that. So you'll have to find out what you like and what you need, right? Yeah. See, my wife, she's on our Merlin&Maeve page. Please follow that one as well, by the way. She says I use sound, drumming, and frequency. Heather says you kind of made me realize that I might be an older soul. Heather, you are an older soul. You're just unaware of it. Otherwise, you'd think I'm crazy. If you're a new soul, you would think I'm nuts and you wouldn't be here already. The fact that you're resonating with me in some way says that. Do I believe in angel numbers? Yes. Marcella, angel numbers are legit. They do have meaning. My wife says, yes, I do. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, angel.
When I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, see, she said, especially when I'm not paying attention, talking about the frequencies. So, yes, angel numbers. If you're not paying attention, you get distracted, and then somebody says, here, look up this angel number, and you do, and you realize what it means, right? I can't learn about enough of this. Yes, you can't learn enough of it. Rhonda, keep, follow me. I'm going to go live a couple times. I'll probably be live again tomorrow. In fact, I will be live again tomorrow because my wife's off, and this is my wife. I'm pointing the wrong direction here.
No, what I meant was when I'm not paying attention and listening, when I'm meant to be listening, I get thrown angel numbers, and they're like, pay attention to me. I was spammed so much. It was like, oh, that's all I was seeing. So take note of what angel numbers you're getting, look them up, see what resonates with you, and then you'll see that they'll start to wane away.
See, there you go. So angel numbers are a thing, big thing. All right. Big Mama says, I get repetitive numbers all the time. The repetitive numbers, when you get the repetitive numbers, those are there trying to help you to expand your consciousness. You have no idea what they are. They're trying to tell you. They're trying to tell you, pay attention. That you're actually getting that to expand your consciousness. So pay attention to those numbers. JC, what is ringing in the ears? Ringing in the ears, depending on the side that you're hearing the ringing in, is your abilities that are expanding. And when somebody says to you, you call them up and they go, what were your ears ringing? Were your ears burning? That's an actual thing. So when the ringing happens in your ears, if you hear ringing in your ears on either side, and you think to yourself, somebody must be talking about me or thinking about me, go down names of people that you know. And when you get to one, mom, dad, my brother, my sister, Mark, that guy across the street, whatever, right? When you get to the person who's thinking about you, that ringing will stop. If you do that, call that person or message that person, you'll find out they'll go, dude, I was just talking about you. I was just going to call you, right? You'll find that that's a thing. Ringing in the ears usually is something that's telling you, right? Some people say, no, it's tinnitus. Tinnitus is tinnitus. I have tinnitus. There's a difference than tinnitus. There's a difference of the ringing. I have tinnitus because, well, I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do, like combat and things like that. And I have explosions and damage to my ears. So that part is ringing and it is tinnitus. There's a different sound that happens that has to do with spirituality, and it's not to the tinnitus. So there is a difference. When did you discover your channeling abilities? I discovered my channeling abilities when I was about, I think, 9 or 10. Because I was awake in this life, I actually remember being inserted into the egg when there was the insemination into the egg, and I was awake the entire time, going through the gestation, going through the birth canal. So it's a little different for me because I already knew that I was my higher self. So in that respect, I was always able to channel in this life. But most people start to learn that as they get introduced to their higher self, then you actually unlock the ability. Because when you start to move into your own higher self, you're actually channeling your higher self. So that's the same ability that you use in the same pathway to channel other entities. How long did it take you to realize your true self? Well, because I was here awake, I was born awake in this lifetime. So because of that, I knew who my true self was from the beginning of this life. But for most people, your normal amount of time is between 7 and 10 lifetimes when you first come in to wake up and realize you're a mortal soul. But most of you that are here right now aren't here on your first, second, or third lifetime. Most of you have been here for a very long time and you got stuck here. So we're coming in to help you guys. Do I believe in star seeds? Absolutely. Star seeds, indigo, all of those things are what we call wanderers. Wanderers, that means that if you're a wanderer, that means you're a higher soul that has actually heard the call of this place being stuck, and you've actually decided to come down here to help. Is Samael a demon? In one aspect, yes. Samael is not a demon. He's the king of demons. He would be what you would call Satan, the devil. In that respect, he was charged by the Creator to have that. So he has a dual aspect. One aspect of Samael is an archangel. The other half is a fallen archangel who is the evil, to represent that masculine, negative energy, warlike energy for this plane of existence. So from the strictest sense of things, he is not just a demon, he is the king of demons in that spiritual context. You're absolutely right. He's doing that job. Oh wow, I thought that he was not a demon. He is also not a demon. So he has a dual aspect. So he has a light and a dark side. Also, do you have deja vu as a child? Yes. Deja vus are another way for the universe to help you expand your consciousness. When you start getting deja vus, pay attention to the deja vus and when they're happening. Most of the time when you're actually on your proper spiritual path that you're supposed to be on for enlightenment, whether you're evil or whether you're good, and you're on that path, you will start getting more deja vus because outside of time, outside of this place in your higher soul, in your higher spirit, there is no time. Time is only the distance it takes for the physical body to go from one place to another. So when you're in here, there is time, and you start actually seeing the deja vus because you're waking up. We live in a simulation. We are in a simulation. It's not what you think. It's not the Matrix where we're in a pod with robots sucking our energy. All of this is an illusion. All of this is happening in the mind of the Creator. You don't exist. I don't exist. This place doesn't exist. We just think that we do. This is actually all a daydream by the Creator of the universe. My 3 girls won't listen to me about these things. Does this mean that I have jumped timelines? No, it just means that you're farther more advanced in a spiritual way than your 3 girls are, and they're not ready to hear this information. You have to allow them to be where they are. That's one of the hardest things that we do here, is you have to allow each soul to be where they are in their journey. If they don't resonate with you, stop trying to force them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So if they're not going to listen to you, you have to just let them be where they are. Samuel's wife is Lilith. Yes, I am married to her. She was just in the room a second ago. I am married to the soul that is in Brooke's body is Lilith. So, what was it that Kay said that you agree with? I wanted to see what Kay was saying. I used, okay, wow. All right, hold on. Let me get back in where you guys are here. Okay, wow. I thought that he was not a demon. I thought he was always, yeah, no, he has a dual aspect. He was charged by God. Most of the archangels, you guys aren't aware of this, and most archangels, even the people that are down here, are not awake enough to realize that energy. That most of the archangels that exist, God had them separated into two, light and darkness, and they're doing both jobs at the same time. They're being the example of darkness and the example of light at the exact same time. But most people down here don't understand that, and they're unaware of it. Sorry, I'm trying to get back in the chat where you guys were. So, yeah, so sorry that was, yeah, there we go. Okay, so Lucifer and Samael are not the same being or entity. What's that, Brooke? Sorry, my wife was saying something in the other room.
I'll catch you up to the conversation. You're jumping, so as I pin it, you'll catch it.
Yeah, that's okay. Because I wasn't sure what was happening. I was trying to figure out what the other person was saying. So Lucifer and Samael are not the same person. Lucifer was not even an angel. Lucifer was a human that was part of he was a general in the military on Atlantis, and he flew here in a spaceship when they had an intergalactic war, and they blew up Moldak and damaged Mars, and everybody had to come to Earth because humans could only exist on Earth. Lucifer was not an angel. He was not a fallen angel. He was just a dude in a spaceship that came down here and got stranded here on Earth, and they started a religion. And the people who think they own this planet right now, the powers that should not be, are Luciferians, because they are all part of that. Their DNA is part of that elongated skull DNA that was Atlantean. But they've bred that out, but they keep saying they have a superior DNA and a larger brain than you do, but they don't anymore. And so Lucifer was not even an angel. Lucifer was a human being, no different than this body that I'm in right now. Is Lucifer Thoth? No, but I am. Lucifer was not Thoth. Lucifer was a person that existed at the same time that Thoth existed, and he was evil. Thoth was not evil, and Thoth fought against him and defeated him, and then Thoth left and stranded Lucifer here on the earth. Can you give us tips for what is that word? Is that quillopathic? I'm not sure what that word is that you're trying to say, but it sounds like some sort of ESP ability. I don't know what that word is. Lipothic work? Yeah, you'd have to explain what that is to me. I don't understand that word. Which angel bends time? There is no time. All angels bend time. When you are in your light body, you are outside of time, existing outside of time. So but the one who did that was in the TV series, and that was Lucifer's brother. And I love that TV series, and he was able to freeze time down here. But all angels can bend time because they exist outside of it. Time is only the distance it takes from the physical body to go to one place or the other. I see 1 0 and 10 10 12 12 all the time. What does that mean? Those are numbers, the repetitive numbers that you see when those things happen are repetitive numbers because it's your higher self trying to get your attention, your guides and your higher self to expand your consciousness. You should look those things up and see what they mean, or look into yourself and see what they mean to you. The 10s and the 12s, those numbers are angel numbers like 111 and 222. So you should look into what those mean for you, because it means something. You're getting a message from your higher self that's telling you expand your consciousness, and here I am. Do you usually go live at the same time? I will be doing that from now on here on TikTok. I usually go live like right now on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm not doing that anymore. So I will be on live at what is it, 10 a.m. New South Wales time, Australia, which is 3 p.m. West Coast America time. I will be doing that on every single Friday. I will do it exactly at this time. If you're in Australia, it'll be Saturday. If you're in North America, it'll be on that Friday. I will be doing that at the exact same time. I'll be going live tomorrow as well, but I will be doing that every week at the exact same time. I will be live here on TikTok for you guys to find. Do you think Atlantis still exists? Yeah, it's underwater. The place is underwater. It's out in the Atlantic Ocean, about halfway between continents. If you listen to like just the Greeks, they say beyond the Pillars of Hercules. If you go out beyond the Pillars of Hercules, that's in the Mediterranean. What is it? Opposites of the Kabbalistic tree of life. What were you saying, Brooke? Aquaman, right? So yeah, so okay, so wait a minute. Is the opposite of the Kabbalistic tree of life essentially hell realms? Does it exist? Um, yeah, yeah. Well, the hell realms are heaven and hell is here. It's within you. Okay, let's get that like right off the bat straight. There is no physical place called hell. There is no physical place called heaven that you can go to in this physical body. Okay, heaven and hell is within you. If you are away from the light, if you are self-serving, egotistical, egoic, you are evil in the minds of the Creator. Okay, if you are away from the light, you are living in hell. The further away from the light that you live, in that place of violence, aggression, perversion, and all of that, that is hell. In the opposite, if you're in service to others, not in service to self, but in service to others, and you live that path, then you become closer to heaven because you're coming closer to God. So there is no physical place, but the realm is within you. This place on earth right here, for some people, is heaven. For other people, it is hell. It is your perception of your reality which drives that. So if you are negative and self-serving, this place is hell, and you probably are angry and hate it. And if you're in service to others, you find the beauty in things. I was having a one, and I came to being that had a deep voice and asked, "What do you want?" Right? So, okay, so you were probably meditating or something, and there was an entity that answered you that could have been your higher self. It could have been the Metatron. It could have been other things. If someone asks you, "What do you want?" ask them a question. You'll start getting an answer of whether that person, by listening to how they answer you, whether they're good or evil. Think this was some kind of gatekeeper. It is very possible. Yeah, Rachel, it is very possible. Because it could be just your higher self, but like I said, it could be you were expanding your consciousness. I ran into a dragon one time in a meditation and was led to this dragon. It was a red dragon, and the red dragon knew who I was. And at the time, I wasn't sure who the red dragon was and didn't recognize the red dragon until the red dragon allowed me to recognize him, and it turned out that it was me in another aspect. I was talking to myself. So you'll have to figure out who you're talking to. I do a lot of paranormal research. Is that a negative thing? No, it is not. Big, it is not a negative thing to research the paranormal. I teach that as well. I teach, there are some very famous psychics out there that work with paranormals that I taught how to do that thing. The paranormal is just disembodied spirits or sometimes echoes of things that happened in the past. And so paranormal work is actually a service, because you're either identifying negative energies and making them move on, or you're identifying energies that are lost and helping them to transition to get back into the game. So no, there's nothing wrong with it. Have you met Source Father God? Oh God, yes. Pete, brother, welcome. There's Pete, Peter from Ireland, one of my brothers who came here with me. Yes, I have. You have too. You just don't remember it. We have all met the source. We have all met the creator of the universe. We just our development will tell us whether or not we are awake enough to realize that we have. Marcella said, "Have you met Source Father God?" Yes, absolutely. I can't even describe it. I'm going to start crying. I can't describe how beautiful it is and how loving the Creator is. When you do that, you will cry. Occult just means hidden knowledge. Exactly. Yes, it does. When something is occulted, it just means that it is secret. When they say esoteric, everyone thinks that esoteric means it means hidden, but it means within. The word exoteric is where we get the word exit from. Exoteric means extroverted, outside, and esoteric means internalized or hidden. So something that is occulted is just something that is being kept secret away from people. The knowledge of what you're to do here is being occulted by the powers that should not be. Brooke, that last thing you had popped up, I didn't get to read it before it came down. Um, why are you trying to channel Satan? Um, Satan is, I'm not trying to channel Satan. I'm trying to actually expand your consciousness so that you realize that everything plays a part and everything serves the all, even the darkness serves the all. Does your higher self change and shape? Yes, depending on what it is that I'm manifesting as at the time. I change. Like here, I am this person, but my higher self, being energy, would only be energy if you met it as energy. But if you met my higher self in a different guise, you would see them in a different way. Like for instance, over here, Samael would scare you because you would see that energy either as light or darkness. Does your higher self change? Oh, it's the same one. Yes. So depending on what your ability to comprehend, I will appear to you in a guise that is familiar to you, that won't freak you out too much when I'm talking to you. Um, so if you are expanded your consciousness and you were able to see Samael, you would see Samael look kind of like that. If you assumed that he was dark, if you assumed that he wasn't, and you had no expectations, then you might see him in a different light. They would be wearing gold armor or something. Repent and seek a real relationship with Jesus while you have the time, people. I am actually a minister, wisdom. I am actually a minister, and that's a very Christian third dimensional construct that you're talking about. There's nothing wrong with it. So don't get me wrong. I'm not attacking you for that, because I am a minister. I was knighted by the Holy Roman Catholic Church and have a Sir title, and I have a Christian minister title, and I'm a theologian. I know that because of your indoctrination right now, you probably think that I'm the devil trying to lead people to hell. But that's just not the case. That's what the churches are teaching you so that they can keep control of you. What are your thoughts on purgatory? Purgatory is what you're in currently. You're in purgatory now, and you stay in purgatory as long as you stay self-serving. If you stay self-serving and evil, and you don't look towards, like he was just saying, you don't look towards your creator in some way, or if you don't look towards the Christ, if you're a Christian, or Adonai, if you're a Hebrew, if you don't look towards the light, you will stay in purgatory. If you are self-serving and you live in the flesh, you will stay in this place, and it becomes your purgatory, it becomes your hell over time, because you chose not to go back to the light. So if you moved and become not self-serving but in service to others, and you start looking for that relationship with the creator, you will then move away from the darkness and move into the light, and you will move towards that. But you have to make it a way of life. You can't just pretend, because you can't fool God. You either are self-serving or you're not self-serving. Thank you for those hearts, and smash those hearts for me. So wisdom, don't think that I'm in any way trying to attack you, brother, for that. Minister of God, preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Not see, so you're indoctrinated, bro. If all you think is that Jesus Christ is the only way. That means you don't know anything about spirituality as a theologian. If you look at the different spiritual contexts around the world,
that Samael is a demon. He's not a demon, people.
Yeah, I already said that. So I already said that. So if you look at religion, you'll find that all of them are the same, my friend. You'll find that the story of Marduk, or the story of Thor, or the story of Moses are all the exact same story of Jesus. Jesus was just the last one that did it, unless you believe that Muhammad was also a savior of God. Otherwise, Jesus was the last time that soul was manifest here in a body, to give that message to the people. Are these angels the archons? The archons don't exist in the way that you think that they exist. That's actually something that another culture put onto that thing, but it's still the concept is still similar. It's just come from the east. Can Samael have intuition? I wrote his name while scribbling, then got scared when I Googled. Have love in intuition. Yes, Samael is not just the devil. Samael is an archangel. Samael has a dual aspect. So people only see Samael as the devil, and they only see that darkness because they've chosen only to see that. In fact, if you're Christian, Samael doesn't mean anything to you, because there is no archangel named Samael in the Christian pantheon. It's just other religions that recognize Samael as a person. There's a few places that are that way. Does the darkness of certain cults know that they're serving a higher purpose? It depends on the individual that is actually running it. Some of them realize it, some of them don't. Most people who are evil, they don't believe that there is a God or a creator, and they defy that ideology because they believe that they're the most important thing in the universe. So they don't realize that they're actually serving the one or the all collective consciousness. Some of them who become higher planed in the negative, they realize it, but they hate it. So most of them don't, but some of them do because they're not actually evil and they're just using some cult that they're running to make money, and they're aware of that. So, but everything serves the all. All the darkness serves the light just as much as the light serves the dark. You're not a minister of God. The Catholic Church isn't Christian. The Catholic Church, my friend, you don't even know what you're talking about. The Catholic Church invented Christianity, bro. You need to look into your own religion. The book that you're using in your church was printed originally by a Catholic church. You actually need to look into that, bro. That's actually the truth of that. What do you make the Christians who lean heavily on the blood sacrifice? Blood sacrifice is, every religion had a blood sacrifice at some point. That's wrongdoing. There was children that didn't understand what was happening at that time. They were simpler people, and they believed that they had to sacrifice things to gods. If you go back during the time of Jesus, the Hebrews were killing animals on the Sabbath every year at one particular time. They don't do that anymore. Have you received Kabbalah terms while meditating? What the fuck? I'm looking up the words. Advanced level. The Kabbalah. I have been receiving Kabbalah terms. Yeah, so if you're getting those, look them up. That'll kind of freak you out. Sometimes when you meditate, you start seeing geometric shapes as well, and you start your higher self starts giving you some of that stuff that will kind of freak you out, but to expand your consciousness. Ministers of God preach the gospel. Didn't we just say that? Didn't you just say that? Not the doctrines of demons. Yeah, I'm sorry, Winston, that you're so indoctrinated by your Christian religion that you actually can't expand your consciousness to take a look at other things other than what they're teaching you in that church. You should expand your consciousness and learn about religion, learn about spirituality. You should take a look at my book. Who is the creator? The creator, there is no name. The creator has no personality like we have a personality. The creator just is. That's why when the creator was talking to Moses, he said, I am that I am. The creator does not self-identify the way we do down here in the third dimension. So the creator is literally just a being that is trying to figure out, who exactly am I? That's why all of this is happening. I'm in the service of others, but still hate it here, and I feel angry. That's normal, BC, to be angry, because this place will make you angry. You have to rise above that and realize that what you're here for is to learn, and that this place is not actually abusing you. None of this is happening to you. It's all happening for you. So you have to realize that it is that you go through that, though. It's normal. When you start waking up, you get angry at what's happening here. That's a normal thing as your transition into your higher self. You get angry because you realize that negative people know about what's going on and they're purposely keeping people here. How do we know what to pray to? You should pray to whatever it is that feels right for you to pray to. So you have a choice of any religion that you want to choose. An indoctrinated person from one religion would get really angry with me and say there is only one God and my prophet is the proper way, because that's what they're taught, and they go to war over that. But if you look at religion in and of itself, you'll find that there is only one true creator of the universe, who has no name, who has no face, who is an energy that is all the collective consciousness of non-self-serving, but in service to other people. And in the universe, if you need a name to put to that, you can put a name to it, but there is no name for that creator, and the creator doesn't have one. Are we going to have a new earth? Yes, that's actually happening down here now. This is it. You're in the transitional phase, and those of us who are here, the Christ energy and the Archangel energy, are here to help you do that. We're actually upgrading this place and putting it back on track, and we're actually going to change the face of this world. And depending on your development, if you're a high enough resonating soul, you will remember the way things were before the change. If not, you're just going to say, you guys are crazy. This has always been this way, and it's never been as bad as you said that it was. Are these angels the archons? That question's already been asked a couple of times. Archons is another name that they gave to the Patal, the higher angels. It's just from a different religion. That's all. So in the strictest sense, yes, the angels are the archons, but they're not evil the way that people say they were, depending on where you're learning that from. In the Middle East, they said that the archons were evil entities. And then in the Far East, they said that they were not evil entities. So it depends on where you got that from, right? Sophia and Lucifer are awakened now with alignments. Yes, that is true. Sophia and well, Lucifer isn't actually a person, and Sophia isn't actually a person, but the energies that you speak of the feminine and the masculine do exist, and they are conscious, and they are aware of what's happening here and here to help. I always look at Samael as a bringer of light. See, there you go. So depending on what you see, right, and when it's misunderstood, it was confused or misheard. Yes, and so Samael did play the role of darkness, the masculine role of darkness. So in the strictest sense of the word, Samael, that part of Samael is evil, but the other part of Samael is an archangel. At Souls, who is Sophia, and what do you mean by awaken? The Sophia energy today, my friend, is the name that people are giving the energy of Mary Magdalene. They're calling it the Sophia energy, so they're blending that. The Sophia energy is becoming the synonymous with the sacred feminine energy, which has been stifled and kept away from the entire planet for thousands of years. The big four religions that you have on the earth right now are all male dominated monotheistic religions, mostly monotheistic religions that are male dominated warlike societies. So the feminine has been pushed away because it's easier to control people when you keep them down in that warlike mentality. So the Hebrew religion, the Christian religion, the Muslim religion, those three religions are all warlike religions from a warlike people. Vibrating love and creator, asking light ships arrive to take the souls home. Light ships are arriving. Light ships are you, are me. We have arrived on this planet. We are here to help take you to another place, right? Judas was the believer. Peter, the denier. Judas was, there's something that'll freak you out. You can read that in the book of Judas. Judas was not a traitor to Jesus. Judas turned Jesus in because Jesus told him to do so, because it was the plan. It had to happen the way that it did. So when you look at that, people to this day still say what the church told them, which was a perversion. They said that Judas was hung himself, and it wasn't the Romans hung him when they realized that Jesus did that on purpose. He had to die at that particular time to prove who he was, and to get that point across to the world. And Judas was the only person that was loyal enough to do what he told him to do. So eventually the people here will recognize that whole story has been changed to control you, to make you think one thing, just like with the Sophia energy or the Mary Magdalene energy. What do you make of the Christians who lean heavily on the blood sacrifice? Well, there's not very many Christians who do that these days, but nobody should be leaning on the blood sacrifice anymore. That was something that was a ritual that went way back, thousands of years ago. They did that when they killed humans too for the blood, and that was just something that was taken the wrong way a long time ago, and they just kept doing that. Gnosticism, depends on which part of the Gnosticism. The new Gnosis church, they believe that they were told something in secret from Jesus, that Jesus was teaching all of the world one thing, but then there was a secret, and he said to these guys, here's the real truth of what's going on. That's a lie. That never happened. But the Gnostic gospels that are out there that are not part of the Gnosis spirituality and religion that is currently starting, the Gnostic gospels are the gospels that were taken out of the canon during the First and Second Council of Nicaea around the year, I think, 329 or 239. Don't get me on exactly on the date. I don't remember the date exactly, but the First and Second Council of Nicaea, when they edited the Bible, Constantine, an emperor a Caesar of Rome, decided that he wanted to use the Christianity to control the masses. And so they made Jesus a god and changed the Bible. We know that to be true now. Is Samael the same as Azrael? No, but it's similar. What your concept of Azrael is similar to Samael, but they are actually two different beings. They are two different archangels and two different energies. But the concept, they both play the same role. Both were the Metatron, both were the angel of death. Azrael also, I think, or Ariel also was the angel of death. So it depends on what guise you're referring to for that. The creator is the monad, and from what you know, if you know what I think you know, what the monad is, the creator is the monad. Yes. I saw the geometric shapes and occult symbols, and I did not like it. Well, it depends on the geometric shapes that you're seeing, because some of them, if you think they're occult symbols, it depends on the symbol, because a lot of the occult symbols are symbols that were used by other people for good, and they were turned to evil, like the swastika, for one, used by the Nazis, is now symbolic for evil, when it was actually Ganesh had it tattooed on his belly, and it was to ward off evil. So originally, that swastika, for the first 100,000 years of its existence on this earth, you guys would probably think more like 10,000 years, but for that first time period, was synonymous with warding off evil. And then the Nazis adopted it for that reason, to manifest their party. And now, for the last 80 years, it's now been considered an evil symbol. So if you learned it as an evil symbol, you would think it's evil, when in fact it's the opposite. So depending on the occult symbol that you think is an occulted symbol, occulted just means hidden, or knowledge that you're not aware of. We're already alpha, and we are the omega, right? So yeah, well, because of the creation. So the alpha is the beginning and the omega is the end. So we are already the alpha because we exist. So I exist, therefore I am the alpha. That is part of the creator. We are part of the creator, and the omega is the opposite, right? The alpha is the beginning, the omega is the end. So the end will be when we return back to the creator. I love you, brother. That's my brother Peter, who came here with me. What is the loosh? Loosh is what they're referring to that energy that makes up the adrenochrome. It's the energy that is secreted in your body when you're in fear. It's the adrenaline. The closer you are to source, the more powerful that energy is, in theory. All of this information is for entertainment purposes only, TikTok. And so what they do is they unalive people, and after they scare them, and then they secrete that, they take that energy out of their brain that has been secreted by their body, and then they refine that in some way. Again, this is all for entertainment purposes from the movie Jupiter Ascending, and then they sell that as a drug. Not true Catholics did not create Christianity. It came many years later. You're absolutely right in that. The Catholic religion is the Christianity, because it was supposed to be the way, and it wasn't supposed to be called Christian. You're absolutely 100% accurate. And it became the Catholic religion when Constantine, aforementioned Constantine, created that actual religion then, and it was wrong. And if you look, Mary Magdalene left from the Holy Land and ended up in the south of France and started the actual religion that Jesus was trying to teach. And you can go to the south of France today and look that up online, and you can see that it is a religion. And the movie that Dan Brown wrote, the book, The Da Vinci Code, became the movie, was based on some of the books that talked about that. One in particular was Holy Blood, Holy Grail, in which the religion of the south of France was exactly the way Jesus was teaching, created by Mary, his wife. They said to the church in Rome, those people are evil. They're not teaching what Jesus wanted, and they've been corrupted. And the church sent their knights there and murdered them all to shut them up. What is the dimension are you and your wife? Well, right now we are in third dimension here talking to you, but we are from the 11th dimension. There are 13 dimensions total. The 13th dimension is the dimension of the creator. The 12th dimension is the very first energies that were ever created. The 11th dimension is where the archangels are hosted. So we are from the 11th dimension. That is where our energy is anchored. And then we've come down to halfway through the 6th dimension to be anchored there, so that we can be in this body here. I don't know if that's confusing. If it is, ask me more questions. Just scared to pray to the wrong entity. Don't want to say Lord. Well, that's because you're believing the LORD thing that they've made up down here, telling you that God and Lord means something evil. It does not. Your intentions go to where they're supposed to go. If you are praying to the creator of the universe and you are a soul that is not evil, your energy will go to the creator of the energy of the universe. and that was the only place that it will go to. The name that you give that creator is a name that does not mean as much unless you're saying Hail Satan when you're doing so. So if your intentions are good intentions and you're praying to the good God, the good creator of the universe, that is where that intention will go to. There's my
I
wife.
had the same problem when I years ago I was scared to say who I was actually talking to. It was confusing to me because I was scared I was going to be grabbing the wrong energy. This was way back when I was starting my spiritual growth, so you're on the right track. I started using universe, if that helps you, if you feel more comfortable, if that resonates with you. That opened my mind up to a lot more and helped me with my spiritual growth. I hope that helps.
Yeah, right? Yeah, hopefully that helps. So Daniel says, how do we achieve such feats that you mentioned? Practice, the expansion of your consciousness, the by meditation or prayer, depending on what you even Zen, what you deem is that shadow work that Carl Jung talked about here, where he said you have to find that within you to be to be objective and say I'm not perfect and I have work and I need to work towards that. If you're self-serving, you won't do any of it and you'll think I'm crazy. If you're in service to others, then expand your consciousness to the realization that you are not this body. You're not this thinking mind. You're an immortal soul that is part of the creator of the universe, and expand your knowledge to that. And over time, as you do that and you move towards that and you stay on that course towards upwards motion towards your higher self, and learn these things, and then you will start gaining that knowledge, and that knowledge is universal. It will come to you and you will actually then be able to follow that path better and more. I'm very angry at this whole setup on earth. It is annoying when you get here, when you start to realize what's happening, you get angry. That's standard and that's normal to get angry because you realize they've been doing this to us and it's annoying. Gaia is the personality of the earth energy. The energy that is earth is the personality's name of this entity that is earth, is Gaia. Gaia is the name of this planet's energy. The soul that is this energy, that is the earth that we're living on, is Gaia. Thoughts on Gnosticism. Gnosticism, in the strictest sense of the religion Gnosis that's coming now, they're based on the fact that they claim that in the year 300, one of the guys said that Jesus spoke to him and gave him a different kind of knowledge that was different. That's a lie. It's not true. I can tell you that because I was there and I know that Jesus was not teaching what they're saying. However, Gnosticism, in and of what they're calling Gnosticism, as all of those books that were taken out of the Bible, that's information that was supposed to be in the Bible. You should read them. And there's proof of that. The Bible that the people in Ethiopia have, that they're researching today, has all those books in it, and so does the Eastern Orthodox Church. Jesse says, questions: have you died and come back and been in the moment? I have died many times. In this life, I was born awake, but if you're talking about near-death experience, I actually had a near-death experience as well. But I have died many times on this earth and then came back, resurrected many times, more than 30 times on this planet since I came here to help everybody. But if you're talking about having a near-death experience to become present in the moment, I did have a near-death experience, but that's not what caused me to be present in the moment. In this life, I came to be this and to be awake in this life. Jesus was not married. Yeah, actually, he was. If you look at the religion at the time, even the religion today, the Hebrew religion, if you're 30, you have to be married. If you go back in time to that time and look up the religion itself, I'm a theologian. You need to know this. Jesus had to be married to call himself a rabbi, which means teacher, and teach in the synagogue. So he had to be married to somebody. Otherwise, you cannot be a rabbi. And he was acknowledged as a rabbi by the Sanhedrin and got to teach. So Jesus was married to someone. Okay, he was married to Mary Magdalene, and there's more about that. We can circle back on that. Can you please tell us about the new heaven and the new earth? The new heaven and the new earth will be created by us in Matthew. In Matthew 3, I think it was 3:16, don't quote me exactly, but in the book of Matthew, it is told there that Jesus says that God said to us, what you sow on earth, I shall too sow in heaven. What you reap on earth, I shall too reap in heaven. That literally means as below, so above. We are creating the new heaven and the new earth. It's not going to be a destruction where everyone's going to die. We are creating that as we speak today, and those of us who came here to help you are here to help you do that. This is a silly question. There are no silly questions, Big. This is a silly question, but do you think that Da Vinci tried to letting the masses know how important that Mary was? Yes, Da Vinci was doing exactly that. Leonardo da Vinci, in the paintings and in the writings and everything that Dan Brown thought that everybody thought was made up, is true, that they were trying to explain that Da Vinci was one of the people who were trying to explain that Mary Magdalene was actually married to Jesus and that they had children and that she showed up in the south of France, and the people there realized that. You can look into that. You should look into that. Let's see what else. Okay, so Jesus had to be. Let's just circle back to that. Talking about that, Jesus had to be married. Otherwise, he could not. He had to be married by the time he was 30 years of age. Did Jesus have a daughter? Yes, he did. He had one daughter and 4 sons. He literally had to be married, otherwise he could not be a rabbi, but he also had to be married by the age of 30 in that religion at the time. Okay. Here's another thing that you need to know about that. If you look up the law of the Romans at the time, when the Romans beat someone and they bled on the in the area where they were beaten, the people who were the direct family had to clean the blood of the person. So if you watch, if you read the Bible, or if you watch the version that Mel Gibson made, he showed you in there, and most Bible stories and most movies show you, because it's in the Bible, that there were 3 people who cleaned up Jesus's blood. They had to be related to Jesus or they would not be able to do that. Where were all the other disciples? None of them were able to clean up the blood. The family of the person who gets beaten and whipped has to clean up the blood. So the people that were there was Mary, Jesus's mom, Mary Magdalene, and John. Those people could not have been there unless they were related to Jesus by law. Okay, that means Mary Magdalene had to be his wife, and John was in fact his brother. Okay, so why did Jesus hang? Jesus didn't hang, or Judas. Judas was hung by the Romans, or not by the Romans. Judas was hung by the Hebrews because they realized that he duped them. He actually was orchestrating. Jesus orchestrated his own death. You know this if you're a Christian. He knew that it was God's plan. He came there to be crucified and to die and to resurrect. He needed to be turned into the Sanhedrin. He was poking the Sanhedrin, trying to get him to kill him. So Judas went there and pretended to say, I can give you Jesus and for some money. So that was planned by Jesus. You can read that in the book of Judas, which they took out of the canon at the First and Second Council of Nicaea, but it's out there. It's out there. It's part of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So Judas turned him in on purpose. They realized that after they killed Jesus, when Jesus died on the cross, people woke up at that moment and realized what they had done. So they went and chased after Judas, and they hung him because they realized that Judas did it on purpose. Who was the mother of King Solomon? Only son. The mother. Okay, King Solomon is related to King Solomon was David's son, and that is the 10th grandfather of Jesus. I'm not sure what you're asking for. I don't know if Bathsheba was Solomon's mom or one of the other girls. That's actually a question that we might want to look up, because David was married to like 4 women before he died, and he was found dead in the arms of a underage girl that he wasn't married to. I believe some people got stuck doing it because they weren't told that those times ended. You're stuck when you're here. This place that you're in is a school. It's not, and the people that know to say it's not a school, it's a lie. That's a lie. No, it's true. This place is a school. You volunteered for this one. Everywhere in third dimension, this happens to where you come in and you don't know what you are, and you're supposed to figure that out. But this one was one that was people volunteered for, and it got stuck. So we're here to help. Shock says some people believe that we're in the age of deception, and Jesus' second coming already happened when the temple. Yes, his second coming was when he was resurrected. That was the second coming. He never said, I'm coming back another time. He never said, wait here, I'm going to come back. The way to heaven is through me. That back then meant through my way, through the ways that I'm teaching you. So you were supposed to actually become unstuck by learning Jesus's way, or any of those saviors that were Jesus. Thor was the same entity that was in there. Marduk was the same. Moses was the same. They were all the same people. That energy, the Christ energy, was teaching you the way to ascend to heaven. You were supposed to unlock that. and then learn how to do that. Was Jesus initiated in Hermeticism? He would have been. He traveled the world, so he actually learned Buddhism, Taoism. He would have learned probably at the time. I'm trying to think of when Hermes was alive. He may have actually met him. I don't think he was alive then. I think Hermes was before him, but he would have learned those religions. Yes. Um, was the beginning of religion. Religion was, I'm not sure where that pertains to, but the beginning of religion. Every time the savior character has come here, or anybody with the philosophy and answer to what's how to get off of this place, if they become popular enough, then linear-minded people turn it into an orthodox religion, an organized religion that follows that. Lao Tzu, who wrote Taoism, who wrote the Tao, which means the way, he didn't want his ideology to become a religion. Neither did Jesus. It was supposed to be a way. From the monad came four iterations. Yeah, see, now that is directly what will be the fifth. That is, see, now that is directly one of those books that's talking about things that have to do with the same things that are in other religions, and they have man, Adam, Seth, and what will be the next? Well, the next will be that savior character, yourself, being internalized as that savior character. The name they gave it, who knows? It depends on whether you're in Middle Eastern book that you just opened to find that, or whether you were in a Far East. Do the gods have supreme being above them? Yes. The gods, which you think are gods like Zeus, Apollo, Odin, Thor, those are demigods. Those are actually archangel energy. There's a creator source that is above that. How do you achieve such feats that you mentioned? You look into this. You too can unlock this knowledge. For one, you can buy my book right here. It's the beginning of that information. It's called The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways. That information is in there showing you how to unlock that information. There's another book that you can read. It's called God Men, the Bible Made Flesh. Came out in like the 1940s. And I don't remember if it was from the United States or Germany or somewhere. But through meditation, through learning spirituality, not religious things. Thank you for that. How do you communicate in the 11th dimension? The 11th dimensional beings communicate only through channeling. They will come down here through channeling only to communicate. They will not physically come down to this level that's this low. No one from the end of the 7th dimension or density up will physically come down unless they do like I did and bring themselves down to a lower vibration and then enter into a body. Otherwise, they only communicate through channeling. So that's kind of freaky to people, but you can channel people and beings from the higher planes. They just won't show up down here. They have other things that they do up there. So they're done with the physical plane once they leave the 7th. Once you, me, or anyone leaves the 7th density, by that time you're a light body. You're no more there is no physicality to you except for energy. And from that point on, from the octave that begins in the 8th dimension that goes to the 8th through the 12th, they don't return down here. Can she teach us more about Lilith? She will be doing that. You're talking about Brooke. She will be doing that. You guys want to find Merlin&Maeve? Baby, put that back up on the screen. That's our company. We have a site here on. We have on every platform. Merlin&Maeve. That's us. Follow that, and you'll see when we're going to start teaching all of this information. At some point, she'll probably be talking more and come on and teach you guys. It may not be live. It may be in Zoom calls. But she will be teaching more about Lilith. We will be teaching more about that. So you'll be able to see that. Thank you. Big said, yes, please. I already followed. Thank you for that. To understand the truth. Oh, see, I don't see that. You have to mark that for me if that's the next question. You're welcome. You're welcome. Is that you, Canna? You're welcome very much. It's what I'm here to do. I came here, pardon me. I came here to do this, to help you guys to understand and to realize what's going on here. You're at a time and a place now, thank you for that, where I can actually say these things to you. Watch the video talking about how to view archons, right? You can, yeah, and you can actually, you watch the video on how to view that. and how to perceive that. You can. I don't think I saw that video, but everything serves that. If the video was made by AI, the problem with when they're making the videos by AI these days is they turn everything into a third dimensional construct. So, like when they're talking about the Lyrans and they're talking about the above that, the Patal or the Nephilim, they always show you a third dimensional bipedal being. It's just not true. They were light beings when they were doing all that. So some of that stuff, when they're teaching you that, the words are more important than the visuals that they're showing you on these videos. Do we choose to reincarnate? Yes. When you come here, if you come here for the very first time as a soul that is self-aware for the first time, you will reincarnate 7 to 10 lifetimes. You will do that until you learn the information that you're supposed to learn to move up to the next level, to move from 3D to 4D. If you've been here before and you've come back to help, you have chosen to reincarnate. You will continue to reincarnate until you don't have to anymore, or until you choose not to, and then you'll move to a different plane. Thoughts on 1,000 years reign of, and then that disappeared on me. I think you were saying 1,000 years reign of the devil. That is in the Bible where it says the devil shall rule the earth for a time. That is this time that the devil has been ruling this earth. That is the 1,000 years where the people who learned the knowledge of how to control this matrix took control of it, and that you're in that time right now. That time is actually ended. They're just fighting against the knowledge of that going to you. That's why we are here, to help you learn that. The 1,000 years for that time when evil ruled has ended, and it's ended a while ago. And people aren't aware of it, and they're just keeping you here and not letting you see that they've already lost. Was Jesus initiated in the Hermeticism? I'm half convinced. In the, like, the Hermes, the Hermetic, or the Corpus Hermeticum. If you read the Corpus Hermeticum, and that information, that knowledge, Jesus knew everything that was in that knowledge. Yes. I don't know if he read those books. He probably did, though, because he went around the world and studied all of that stuff, but it was knowledge that he already knew, because he was a light bringer. He was supposed to come here. Did he go down to Egypt? Yes. Yes, he did. He went all over the place. And then even after his resurrection, he went all over the place after that. And there's tell of that in even in the Americas by the people who were living there. They said that a man came in bright robes who was teaching the way, and that was in a time that was after Jesus's death and resurrection. Is the true angel of death? Who is the true angel of death? Is that what you're trying to say? Samael is the true angel of death, but not always. There's a couple of us that do that job, just like the Metatron. There's a couple of people that are the voice of God. If you listen to the Christian Bible, Jesus was. So Azrael is one that does that. Samael does that. There's a few of us that actually do that, because it depends on the planet you're on. Because there are humans and souls all over the universe. So there's different archangels in different sectors and different universes that you've never heard of. Do you believe in fate? Everything happens for a reason. Yes. Everything does happen for a reason. There is fate. There is some fate to your existence, because you've already designed your existence and what you want to do, and that design that you designed is plugged into this matrix. So you create your own fate before you get here, and then your fate plays out and is put in front of you. So what is the goal here? The goal here, that is a great question, Bonnie. Thank you for asking that. The goal of this place is you who are self-aware. I am self-aware. I think, therefore I am. The goal here is for you to then realize that you are not just this place, this thinking mind, this flesh body, that you have and are a higher self, a soul, a higher soul. The whole purpose of this place is for you to learn what it means and live and have the experience of life and death, an organic one. So to have that, you have to be veiled. You cannot remember that you are part of the Creator. So you're living a life organically, learning what it means to exist, to survive, to love, to hate, to strive, to be a victim, to have great food, to have children, to do all these things in life. And in doing so, become wiser, and then start to realize, I'm not just this, I am something higher, and then move on to the next phase of your existence. That's the purpose of this place. I have a problem with King James as a person and couldn't believe that anything that was, yeah, well, they believe King James changed the Bible. Not quite as bad as Constantine did earlier on, but King James did change the Bible to suit King James's idea of what was going on. Okay, is America's the Babylon, etc.? I've been hearing that um, not over there here, that it's not over there. Um, Babylon is where Babylon was. The concept of Babylon and the fall of Babylon is what the American ideology, or that evil way of life, not just the Americas. Remember, I was born in the United States, not the people, but those people who think they own the earth, that are self-serving, that believe in like gluttony and all of that. That's the what Babylon has come. It's like the fall of the tower, right? So it's that way of life is eating of the flesh. So that debauchery, that evilness, that greed, that's the proverbial Babylon today. I have the feeling that Paul co-created the way. It depends on, yeah, it depends on which. There was a lot of co-creation. Most of the people did co-create that. Peter usurped it and changed it, like we were talking about before. Peter usurped that and changed it, but Paul, all the people that were there, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all of them, James, Mary, all of them were co-creating the way with Jesus and learning the way to continue teaching it. How do you communicate in the 11th dimension? Through channeling. That's a form of extrasensory perception where I expand my consciousness and then reach out with my consciousness to talk to an entity in that dimension, and then you can either just have a communication, or you can channel that person and bring them in and let them speak to you. What's happening to you right now, when I'm talking to you, is that I am actually channeling Samael at the exact same time. So there's a dual aspect of Leonard O'Neill answering and Samael answering you while we're talking. And I'm allowing that, instead of moving over and having Samael just being here, Samael is side by side with me. Do we have a choice about reincarnating? Yes, absolutely. You have a choice. If you have learned what you have designed this life for yourself. You designed what it is that you're doing here in your life for you to learn here. None of this is happening to you. All of it's happening for you. So you can reincarnate as long as you want to and stop when you're done and ready. Please, what do you know about the Palladians? And was Yahshua a Palladian? The Palladians are a group of people, entities that are non-physical. Some are physical in the Pleiades. They don't fly here in physical spaceships, but there are people that are here that are souls inside these bodies that are Palladian, that you were a Palladian in a past life and you came from the Pleiades and ended up in here on Earth. Jesus did spend time in the Pleiades, but Jesus was not a Palladian. Jesus was a Patal. So Jesus came from a higher plane of existence and came down. But Jesus, that character that you know as Jesus here on Earth, that soul that plays that part, plays that same part all over the universe. So in the strictest sense, he was there. Yes. But he's not from there. But you may be, right? To understand the truth, to watch the film The Fifth Element, right? Yeah, that's kind of The Fifth Element, and then they'll understand creation. Yeah, if you watch the movie The Fifth Element, you kind of get that. You kind of get a little bit about that. You should take a look at some of the movies. Some of the movies that are out there. Lilith was grabbed by Lucifer. Lucifer was not the devil. Lucifer was a human being who came from Moldek, who came here, who was Atlantean. He is not an archangel. He is not the angel of death. He is not the angel of evil. He was an evil man who existed on this planet. So but you guys are blending characters. You're blending Samael with Lucifer and Satan. Satan is another guise from a different religion that was the evil. Lucifer was, if you believe in Luciferianism, Lucifer was actually a person. Okay. So Lilith, the only thing that Lilith had to do with Lucifer was nothing. Lilith existed before Lucifer existed. Lilith has existed since the second creation of all souls. and Lucifer was a human that was living here thousands of years ago. We are no longer in third dimension. No, Yeg, you are in third dimension. You're in third dimension until you start to realize that you have a higher self, and then you start moving into 4D. But this place is 3D still. It is the third dimension. You haven't moved into the fourth dimension yet, but we are moving into that. So I like your forward thinking though. Keep that forward thinking going, because the more of us that think we are already moving into the 4D, then eventually we're going to manifest that and become 4D. Thoughts on Paul? Um, it depends on which character that you're referring to. All of the characters that existed back then, like I said, Simon Peter. I think you're getting confused between Peter and Paul. See, my wife's even saying that. I think you're getting confused between Peter and Paul. I think you're remembering a different timeline. In this timeline, Simon Peter was the rock. Simon Peter was the one who took over, and John is the one who was in Patmos and wrote the letters to the churches. So Paul didn't have much to do with the church in this timeline that you're currently in on this planet. But Paul had to do with the church and manifesting it the same way Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, James, all of them did as well. Can anyone channel an entity? Yes, you can if you have the right training. Anyone can channel any entity. You just have to, if the entity wants to work with you, they will work with you. They're individuals just like I am. But with the right training, you can do it. We shifted dimensions on November 11th at 11:11. I believe that's very possible because there's been timeline shifts, and there was one in November, and I think right around then there was a big one that just shifted. So it's very astute of you to know that, because there's been a few, and we're fixing that and changing that, right? So yeah, who's 11:11? Someone said California time. Yeah, it depends on the 11:11 what time period that you're talking about. So Paul, like I said, or your thoughts on starseed. Starseeds, the concept of starseeds. Starseeds are people who are wanderers. Starseeds are people who came from a higher dimension, a higher place of existence, 4, 5, 6, 7D, that have decided to come here to help people here on this earth. There are billions of starseeds here. They are people who came from a higher plane of existence, and they are reborn into bodies here legally to come here to help. Some of you who are in this audience are starseeds, you just don't remember it. Is it true not to follow the light unless you know? No, that's a lie. That's a lie that they're saying. They're telling you that they have machines that are out there that if you go into the light, they're going to zap your soul and erase your memory. They know that people are veiled here. So the people from the ancient aliens people are telling you that there are machines out there, or an evil empire that is called the Anunnaki. And when you die, you're actually in a prison, and they zap your immortal soul and insert you back into a body, and you're in a prison. That's a lie. It's not true. That happens anyway, but you volunteer for that to happen. And it does happen, but you're coming back down here and you're doing that, right? Are you going to get the digital currency microchips? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not unless they actually, force me to get it and tackle me and implant it in me. I will not get the digital currency, and no one will get the digital currency if we all say no. They will only do what the collective consciousness of this earth allows. So if they say you have to get it or you can't trade, and you say absolutely not, and everybody in your society says absolutely not, we will not get it, then they'll stop trying to get it. If you're afraid of it and you go, they're going to force us. And remember that all of this knowledge that we're talking about is for entertainment purposes only. We don't want to get kicked off of TikTok, right? So if that was in a movie, that's what that would be about. Please, what do you want? What do you know about the Palladians and Yahweh? We already covered that earlier. Jesus or Yahweh, depending on the language that you're using to say that, was there in the Pallades. He was not from there. He was from a higher plane of existence, but he did go to the Pallades, just like he went to here, just like he went to Orion, just like he went to many other places. It's the spirit that was there is sent by God to create those stories for everybody. Is Trump the Antichrist? No. No, the Antichrist is within you. There is an Antichrist that you guys know from prophecy that is alive on this earth. That person is behind the scenes. You will not know who the name of that person is. quite possibly ever, but that person does exist, and it's not Donald Trump. If Donald Trump were, he would be a puppet from the Antichrist, but he's not a puppet from the Antichrist. Is it possible that my dad, who has passed, is still here? Your father, who passed, depending on when he passed, if he wanted to be here for this awakening, then he has come back and he has been reborn into a different body, and he is here. If he didn't, then he is still staying near you because he's probably helping you and guiding you. So depending on when he went and whether he wanted to come back or not, will determine whether he is here in body or out of body, but he is still here either way. So he's around you. So his energy is there. He could actually have come back and his energy could still be there, but his energy is around you. August 26th. Yeah, he's still here. His energy is around you. Yeah, Rose Paul. I can't do that while I'm on air here because that would take me a little bit of time, but I'll have to look into that and do that. Are you able to actually channel your own galactic record? Well, you must be, or you wouldn't be saying that. When you're a light bringer, you don't have to read. You don't have to read to know. You just know somehow. You know. Yes, when you start expanding your consciousness and you get to that place where you're communicating with your higher self and you're actually able to get to the Akashic records, the halls of Amente, depending on what you know that as, then you will then be able to channel that information. Is karma real? Only in life, but yes, karma is real because the way this matrix works. So if you do evil stuff to evil people, then you get, you reap what you sow. So when you do things, it will come back on you. So in the physical, in the very physical sense, in this third dimension, karma is real. What Bible do you suggest I get? All of them, my friends. What is this? Live visibility is restricted. Okay, so they've restricted a little bit because I've said too much. So what Bible? I would suggest that whatever you feel comfortable with, you should learn all of them because they're all telling you the same thing. So whatever feels comfortable for you is the way that you should go. So if you find some religion that you like and it feels good with you, go ahead and explore that because all of them really are telling you the same thing. They're telling you the way. So I have to be careful what I'm saying because I've said enough to where TikTok has restricted what I'm talking about. So that means that they've upgraded me to adult only. I thought I already had that on though. How do you feel about women banned from menstruating in certain religions? Oh yeah, like they did back when Jesus was alive, where if they were menstruating, they were considered unclean. That's just come on, that's or ministering. Oh, ministering. I'm sorry, I thought you were saying menstruating. Ministering. I think that they should be. That is the way that Jesus was creating the way. Women are equal to men and they should be allowed to be ministers in every religion, but some religions don't allow that. If you don't agree with that, don't go with that religion, but they should be clergy because there's nothing wrong with that. People need to learn more about feminine energies. How much of the Bible has been changed initially? If you're talking about the Christian Bible, currently the Christian and canon and what we call the Old Testament in that Bible, there are more books missing out of that Bible than there were originally in it. That's how much has been changed. 186 books were taken out of that Bible. They're in the Dead Sea area. The Dead Sea Scrolls are those. And people say that that's not true, but the Ethiopians have a Bible and they say this one was never tampered with. And that Bible has all of those scrolls in it. And the Eastern Orthodox Church says the same thing. And so it does still exist. You just have to realize that it was changed back in the year, in the 200s or 300s. They changed that. Constantine took a bunch of books out and rearranged things. And that's in history, so you can look that up. That's not me saying something, right? So then King James did it again and changed things in the 1500s. How about the Gospel of Mary? Gospel of Mary is incomplete, but it is there, and they have found it in 5 different sources now in 5 different places around the world. So it's not something that was created or faked. Archangel Michael has a twin. Thank you for that. Has a twin brother. Is it Samael? Archangel Michael and Samael are not twins, but they are related. But they're not twins. But it depends on whether the religion. It also depends on the religion that you're looking at. Twin brother. Yeah, if you look, it depends on the religion and what time and what place. that you'll hear the answer to that. That's just like Samael, whether Samael even exists or if he's good or evil, is determined by a different place in different time in the world here that we're in. Why am I being attacked so often and it doesn't stop? If you're being attacked by negative energy, it's because your energy is the light in you has grown brighter, and you're actually having negative energy trying to distract you and punish you for being more in service to others, and you're being attacked. So you need to cleanse that and get that energy out. We're teaching a class coming up in a couple of weeks in the 13th and 14th of December, a Zoom class called Defense Against the Dark Arts. If you want to follow me or Merlin&Maeve, my wife is on there as Merlin&Maeve. Follow Merlin&Maeve. You can get a link to a Zoom class that we will be teaching coming up in December, right? Are there levels of heaven like was said by Enoch? The levels of heaven are within you. So there are levels of heaven, but heaven is not a physical place that you can go and fly to, like in a spaceship or something. Heaven is within you, and you ascend to that place. So there are different levels of heaven, because once you start moving back to the light, you will find yourself in a heaven, and it will not be this place as hell anymore. And then as you move up in your spirituality, you'll become a higher and higher being and unlock more and more things, and you will have access to things in the non-physical. Do you think that Jesus was two beings like some teach, divine and human? Yes, Jesus was human in the flesh, did exist like I exist right here in the flesh in front of you, but the soul that was in the immortal being that was inside Jesus, the human, was an immortal, that was an angelic being, yes. What is the correct way to manifest? If you're going to manifest like just anything, manifesting anything, the correct way to manifest that is to focus your energy on that, and to focus positive energy on that in a positive way, not in a negative way. So like if you want money, you can't say I don't have money and I want money. Money is me. I am money. I have money. I have abundance. You have to learn that. We're actually, my wife and I will be teaching a course on that in January. If you're interested in that, we'll be teaching that, but you can look that up. Positive affirmation, no negative affirmation. I am money. Money is me. Change the way you say things. Like when somebody says, do you want to go to the movies? And you say, I don't have the money for that. That's not what you say. What you say is, I don't want to spend money on that right now. I have other things to spend my money on. Your manifestation changes from within you. You have to change the way you think. Is the earth flat? No. No, the earth is not flat. It's okay if people think that, but it's not flat. There is not a hard dome up there that you can't get through. The dome was something that people created 10,000 years ago when they were children, and they had no idea what was going on, and they'd never even fathomed the idea of flight, let alone going to space. So they said the earth was there was a dome of the sky. Is cryptocurrency bad? Cryptocurrency is probably where everybody's going to be going. It may be the next evolution of currency. They're trying to get everybody onto crypto so they can get everybody onto digital currency. So it's bad in the sense of they're going to centralize the money to a computer where they can turn you off when you don't obey with them and you don't get a shot. They can turn you off. They're already trying to do that with bank accounts. So it could be bad if they use it for bad things. If they're not using it for bad things, it doesn't matter. It's just another form of currency, just like anything else. But even banking and money that's tangible, they're trying to use, right? No chips unless we vote. Unless the vote wins, they can't force it unless it gets bad, and it may be in 30 years, but not now. Agreed, Carlos. 100% agreed. If the people say no, and there's enough people that say no, you're not going to be forced to a chip or any kind of digital currency. We just have to say no, we don't want it. Wherever you are in the world, whatever country you're in, if enough of you say something, it becomes a thing, right? Traveled much. It depends on what you mean. On this earth, I have traveled around the world. There are some places that I can't tell you that I went to, because I went there and I was doing things for governments that I can't talk about. But I have been to most countries in the world, but I was not there as a tourist, so I didn't get to have fun in places. So I plan on doing that. But right now I'm in Australia, and I was born in the United States. So in this body with this name, I've gone to Canada, I've gone to Mexico, I've gone halfway across the United States, and now into Australia. Is there anything behind having the W on both hands? Yes, having the, I don't know if you can see that. Wait, where's the camera? I don't know if you can see that, but having that W, or what we call the duck palm, you can see it in my hand right there where it goes up right? I can't do that because I'm backwards, but you can see that the W is there. For people who have that, you're usually a healer. I'm a Reiki master teacher, so is my wife. She also has that on her palm. Most people who came here to be healers, who are in service to others, will have that W on their hand. I thought those were all demons pretending to be your loved ones that basically said by good and evil. No, well, no, there are evil entities out there who will try to pretend that they're good. They do that in the physical plane too. So evil is in this place. That is what it's designed to do. It's the ego. So egoic people are evil, and they will try to pretend that they're good, and then they will do things like rape you, pillage you, use you, beat you, take something from you, gain power over you, whatever. And so there are some physical and non-physical to do that. The Bible says best not to practice free will. It depends on where you're looking in the Bible. But the Bible says that. If it does say that, I don't know where it says that in the Bible, best not to practice free will. But if it says that in the Bible, that was changed because the Bible never said that. I'd like to know what verse that is that it says do not practice free will. That's probably in a new international version where they changed the words. It glitched when you said Trump is not the Antichrist. That's a good one, right? I don't know about that. That's crazy. It glitched, right? Maybe that was when they all of a sudden said, wait, he's talking about some crazy stuff, right? Yeah, yeah. You have to realize that. Yeah. Everything that I'm saying here is for entertainment purposes only. If I would have said that before I answered that, maybe it wouldn't have glitched, right? Is our Earth family our family in the afterlife? Yes. Yes. The people that you have around you that you came here with in your Earth family is also with you there. So if you have relatives that have already passed on, if they haven't already come back into this life, they're up there and they become your guides and they're there waiting for you. You know, when you die, then they'll meet you and greet you and take you and help you. But yeah, you have soul contracts where we stay in groups of people, sometimes 3, sometimes 10 people. You're being restricted because you're speaking the truth. Absolutely. Absolutely awesome. Yes. I'm speaking the truth and I'm being restricted. Absolutely. Like Mary Magdalene. Yeah. Talking about that. If I don't say that this is all for entertainment purposes only often enough, then I get restricted. So they restricted me a bit because of that. So for those of you who are trying to get in, if you couldn't get in, how about the Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene? Will it ever be known? Yes. It is the fastest growing spiritual practice on the earth today is the Rosicrucian, is the Mary Magdalene, the Sophia energy is the largest, fastest growing, the feminine energy on this earth is the fastest growing knowledge and energy. And Mary would be venerated for being who she was before the year 2050. To answer your question, because the portion of the warlike masculine energy is over, we are now moved into the feminine energy, right? Did giants walk the earth? Yes. Yes. Depends on the size of the giants that you're talking about, but people who were 8 feet tall, 19 feet tall, yes, they were here on this planet at one time. Yes. And some of the bodies we found. If you like what you have been seeing, yeah, feel free to give a gift. Yes, please. Thank you, Peter. Peter's one of my best friends and a moderator. Hit those likes, people, and follow me. And if you like what you see, hit those likes. Tell me that you like me. Hit those hearts for me and give me a gift, please. And follow me. Follow the Merlin&Maeve category. You can follow Pete Star TV right there as well. He has good content on his TikTok where he puts up a lot of videos that he makes that are really fun to watch. Can my cats help me with spirituality? Yes, your cats are designed. Thank you for that. Cats are designed, JC, thank you for that. Cats are designed to protect your immortal soul, and dogs are designed to protect your physical body. So cats actually see things that you don't. You ever look at a cat and it's looking around and people are like, my cat's crazy. He's looking like he sees something. Chances are he's actually seeing a being that is not in a body, and they chase that stuff around. They actually protect you the same way a dog will protect you against a physical person trying to attack you. So I started seeing UFOs after I did a shaman ritual and met blue beings. I think that it is a communication. Yes, if you met cosmic, if you met blue beings, there's a very large number of us that are here on this earth that came from Orion, and the Orion's belt from different places, Palladians and Andromedans and and other beings that came here that that were blue in the life that we were before we came here. Part of the Galactic Council that have come down here, the Orion Council of Light, and the Orion Coalition in physical body. A lot of people are blue. Can you explain the Trinity? The Trinity, if you're talking about the Christian Trinity, that's been changed. That's in nomine Patri, Filii, Spiritus Sancti. That's Latin, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. That's the Trinity. The Trinity is actually supposed to be in the warlike concept. It's the masculine energy without the feminine. It's only the masculine. The Trinity is supposed to be the masculine feminine duality energy. So you're supposed to have the male and the female, and then their offspring. Their offspring is you. Because the male and female deity is supposed to be one. It's supposed to be the creator, and then you are the birthing of that creator. So it's supposed to be mother, father, and so instead of in the name of the Mother and the Son, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, is supposed to be in the name of the Father, the Mother, and then the Holy Spirit being you and the Holy Spirit. So the Father, Mother, the offspring, and then the unity of that is supposed to be the actual Trinity. Right. Explain the firmament, please. The firmament is that energy with, thank you for that. Thank you for that puzzle piece. That the puzzle piece usually means autism awareness. I don't know what it means on TikTok, but in America that means autism awareness. And I have a nephew that's autistic, and I'm kind of on the spectrum. So the firmament is what in Star Wars was called the Force. The firmament is energy, but they've taken that now and tried to use it here on Earth. The firmament was the ether, but now they're saying that the firmament on Earth is this magical entity that is this wall of ice, that is this energy that is keeping everybody from realizing this place is flat Earth. And I always ask them, how do you know it exists then? If you can't go to it and you can't see it because it makes you change the direction, then how do you know that the firmament exists, right? So, but originally the firmament was the same as the ether, and that was the energy of the universe itself. But there is no firmament, there is no dome there, and if there is, I really wish somebody would go and film it and bring it back for us because it's not there. Did we go to the moon? The first time that was filmed. So when people say that we didn't go to the moon the first time, that was filmed. We didn't go there the first time. Since then, yeah, people have been to the moon. People have been there. The Chinese just went there. The Chinese just went there earlier this year. Where does the Rh negative blood come from? The Rh negative blood is manifest on this earth because the Patal came here. There's the blood for the Rh negative or the Rh factor, the negative, not having any DNA from the monkeys on this earth, a primate, is the manifestation of the Patal. Those of us who came here to help, those of us who have the Archangel energy, came down to earth to help this earth. And that energy only resonates backwards in time in the physical, only 10,000 years. They can't find it any time before that. Med beds is going to be ready for the humanity to heal. Well, in a sense, yes, you go there, Raphael, love your name. So to heal us, we heal ourselves. So when you're here in the physical, you can heal yourself. If you're not self-serving and you're in service to others, and you actually meditate, you can heal your physical body in a crazy way by waking up that Christ consciousness within yourself. You can heal yourself in a great deal. Your spirit, your soul gets healed every time that when you leave this body, you go to the place of reflecting, healing first, then reflecting. So you're only damaged when you're here. If you're down here, stuck here, and you don't realize what's going on, then in a sense, you're kind of damaged. Thoughts about the old world buildings? Well, all buildings are set up for energy or the lack thereof. So today's buildings are very square. That is done on purpose because it's the lowest vibrational building. So when you go to the old world buildings, they always had archways. They were built like a bell or an arch because the energy resonated in a different way. So the buildings in the old world, some that are not flat and square, those buildings resonate in a completely different way that is uplifting. That's why the pyramids resonate in a certain way, because they're not square. So that's why that they build everything now square, because they are aware of that. Remember, all of this information is for entertainment purposes only. But those people, the powers that should not be, they build buildings now square to lower your vibration and keep you in this box. Look at me, I'm in a box on the camera here, right? They do that on purpose. Are you, say, W, or is it an M? It depends on what you're referring to there. If you're referring to like energies as in masculine or feminine, I'm not sure what you're, if you're, so if I'm not sure what you're referring to. Brooke, do you know what Queen's referring to there? So I think it's the W, yeah, W or M on that palm. Yeah, if you're talking about that, I'm a W because I'm a healer. So if that's what you're talking about, the on the palm itself, you can see that I'm a W. I'm a healer. So if you're referring to that, that's because I am a star being. I am here to help, and I am a healer. I'm thinking that's what you're. And so is my wife's thinking that's what you're talking about on the hand. Yes, everybody's going the hand, the hand. Yes, I am a W. Yes. What is this? Medbeds. How long it takes to be ready for the humanity? If you if there you heal yourself, there maybe the people are going to do like a sarcophagus like they talked about in the ancient times. People may start to do that because if you look at in the physical, again, this is all for entertainment purposes, but look at that. If you look at the physical, then they talk about that. They have that for the powers that should not be. Is Jesus's daughter named Sarah? Jesus's daughter was named Sarah. Yes, that is what her name was. Yes. Yes. Next question. Yes, you can look that up in history if you read the book Holy Blood, Holy Grail. They talk about that. Dan Brown talked about that in his book, The Da Vinci Code. Her name was Sarah. How to protect your energy. We're going to be doing a course on that, on how to protect your energy. But quickly, Queen, I can say that you need to meditate. You need to learn to reflect energy away from you, cleansing, right? Using sage, using smudging, using incense. You can use sound. You can use crystals. To ward off negative energy and replace that negative energy with positive energy. But we do have a course coming up on the 14th, 13th, and 14th of December called the Defense Against the Dark Arts. If you follow Merlin&Maeve or click on Peter and talk to him, or talk to me, or talk to Brooke in the audience, or Merlin&Maeve, then we can give you the link for that. Yeah, okay. How many children did Jesus have? Jesus had four sons and one daughter. Most people think he only had three sons. Some people don't think he had any kids. Jesus and Mary had four sons and one daughter. You can look that up. That's starting to come out in this reality as the time changes and the things. And Mary's information is coming out more as we're changing things and the timeline shifts. That'll become more apparent. Why are witches and wizards attacked? Now, I haven't seen them being attacked. They might know why. I am a Merlin, so I am a sorcerer. I am a wizard. I am a light bringer. There, anything that is not the way they want, any religion or philosophical or spiritual way of thinking that is outside their control, they don't want. So anybody who is on the fringe or in any way thinking for themselves, they don't want. So if you see that and they're being attacked, it's because people, they were trying to keep everything status quo. Because religion is being exposed, people want to know the truth. Yes, correct. You're absolutely right. Executionist, you're absolutely right. Because people are starting to wake up and they're starting to learn to think for themselves, and critical thinking is not something that they want. Remember, TikTok, everything that we're talking about here is for entertainment purposes only. We are only speculating because we're talking about movies that have been out or have covered this sort of thing, and games that people play online. Is God where the northern lights are? No. God is everywhere. God is everything. So God is not just where the northern lights are, but the northern lights did its purpose to lead people and allow them to see that as a source of light, as God for thousands of years. But God is everything. God is everywhere. Why do some of us still have Neanderthal DNA? Because some people are still there, right? Or giants, because it's still in the DNA of the people that are here. So we keep passing it on, brother. It's not going to be read out. It's just who we are. Why do some people have 34 vertebrae? That has to do with different DNAs for different genomes that were here on Earth that is still here, like the Neanderthal and the like. They were still that vertebrae is slightly different, but there's also changes that are going to happen to the people, right? What is behind the ice wall in Antarctica? There is no ice wall in Antarctica, but behind the If you go to Antarctica, you will not get there, but if you go to the pole, remember this is all entertainment purposes only. But there is an entrance into the other part of the Earth that is the Taurus, because the Taurus is not just a circle; it actually has points that go inside that go to a 0 point. So our planet is a Taurus. It's not a globe. It's not round like that. Is giving up death? No, giving up is just giving up. I mean, some people just give up and they go, screw it, I'm not going to do anything, and they just sit down and live life. Now, giving up is not death. Death is only what you make of it. It's either the physical body dying, or you could see it as I quit. So that's a form of death, right? Apocalypse means unveiling, lifting the veil of what was hidden from us. Absolutely, it does. The apocalypse means that, just like revelations in the Christian Bible, the word revelation even back then meant illumination. It meant revel in something. It meant illuminating and waking up and unveiling. Absolutely, my friend, you're absolutely right. What can you say about the North Pole? The North Pole currently is out of place. There is a magnetic north, and then there is true north. The North Pole is out of place right now because the Earth flipped over on its axis thousands of years ago and flipped back up. And you can read that in history. I'm not making that up, and it's kind of wobbling slowly like this, but it's moving back up to 0 point. So eventually, true north and magnetic north are going to merge with one another by 2050. That should happen. What can you say about that? Yeah, so by 2050, we should be very close to back at true north. So there's going to be a lot of physical changes on the earth as that happens. As the spirituality of this earth turns back more towards the light, the more that's righting itself, just so you know. We're going from carbon to a crystalline DNA. We are. You're absolutely right. That's pure heart. Thank you for saying that. You're absolutely right. We are moving and changing our DNA as we are moving into 4D. We are changing from a carbon-based unit to a crystalline-based unit as we get our chakras in line and expand that consciousness and expand that chakra. Our DNA is upgrading and changing. And by 2050, if we can do it before then, we're going to do it before then. Why are the skies being sprayed? Because they're trying to slow us down. Remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only, because we don't want TikTok thinking that we're conspiracy theorists. This is all for entertainment purposes only. They're trying to slow down the consciousness awakening of the masses of the people on the earth. So that's why they're doing those things. They're doing everything they can do to lower our vibration and keep us in a lower resonance. When you mentioned the North Pole, it buffers because they don't want us to know about it. The truth about it, absolutely. They don't want us to know what's out there. Our DNA strands 13, our DNA strands are 33, our DNA strands, the numbers of our DNA strands that are 13, 33, and the other numbers that all add up. If you change those numbers to Sanskrit, in the ancient Sanskrit and the Hebrew, where numbers were letters, and you change them to letters, your DNA spells out, I am God on earth, I am God, I am God in flesh. Do you think that we were manipulated? Our DNA, yes, but not the way you think, not by aliens coming down and playing with our DNA. Our DNA was changed because we changed, and so it changed our DNA. And we're changing it back because we're changing now. Is there, is that Illuminati people? Is there a, what is that, Illuminati? Are you trying to say Illuminati? Illuminati people, will they do arrest? There is Illuminati. There are people that call themselves Illuminati, but they're not real. They're just a bunch of people. I think that's what you're saying. Will they get arrested? No, because nobody's going to be held accountable in a way that you think, like physically, for doing anything that they're doing there. Yeah, 3, 6, and 9, brother. I love that. But they will lose their power. So the Illuminati, those people that are, whatever you want to call them, the Anunnaki, whatever else. I don't want to say too many words. I don't want to get TikTok tripping on what we're saying, but for entertainment purposes only, those people that are in the powers that should not be are already losing their power because they've already lost. They're just holding on with everything they have as hard as they can to try and keep all of us under their spell. But people like me have come here to change that and to give you guys back the knowledge that you are free from the time you were created. Why were the bells removed for the churches? Same reason. The bells ring out. They are set at certain tones. They're set at a certain frequency, and when that frequency resonates, then that frequency is heard. There's still a church over here. I'm in Woy Woy, New South Wales, and there's a Roman Catholic church a few miles down the road, and they ring the bells still over here. There are still some that do, but most of the bells have been taken away because they don't want people to hear that and feel that resonation of the bell where it's resonating at, because they've tuned bells in the past at a certain frequency to help expand your consciousness, and they don't want you to hear that anymore, so they're trying to take them all away. They don't want the bell itself, the shape of the bell. They don't want you living under it. They don't want you. They want you in a square box. So they don't want anything that resonates in a way. Do you believe Hollywood is evil and do rituals? Yes. Not all of them, not everyone, but the people that are in control. In my book, right here behind me, there's a book on both sides of me here that is called "The Reality About Reality: Returning to the Old Ways." You can look that up, and you can buy that. It's online. You can get it anywhere. That they literally are what I call the controllers here. Illuminati can live in a tent, homeless in communities, right? Yeah, we can put them where they're trying to put all of us and let them deal with it for a while, right? No, that's when Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek." That's what he. Oh, pardon me. That's what he was referring to. He was referring to, don't become them, don't be like them. So don't treat them the way that they treated you. So that's funny, right? Those people that took the jab, will they ascend? Yes, it's not going to stop their soul. They're just trying to make everybody weak. It had nothing to do with your immortal soul. They can't touch that. The only thing they can do is mess with your physical body, and that's what they did. Anybody who got that, it's something that we don't know the outcome completely of it. They're just trying to do what they can to slow things down here. But they will still ascend because it's not. It wasn't something they chose, knowing that they were harming themselves, right? It was something that they felt they were forced to do, and out of fear, because it was a Hegelian dialectic where they created the scenario and then sold you a product and told you had to get it, otherwise you would all die. So time will fix that, but there's going to be some people that are going to probably become unalive earlier than they should have been. Yeah, that's just unfortunate, but we don't know the outcome of all of that. It's just like all the plastics that we have. There's so much plastic that is in the ocean. It's now in our drinking water and our food supply. We don't know what the consequences of that's going to be on our DNA or our body altogether as we're eating it, right? So we got to start getting that plastic out of all of that stuff and doing something else with it. Are the stars angels? No, the stars are lights that are coming from other solar systems around in other universes out there in the Milky Way and past the Milky Way. What about the fake alien invasion and what is that really? That's something that they've designed. It's a Hegelian dialectic. It's a theory, right? Again, this is all for entertainment purposes only. We're talking about things that they did in a movie, where they have this fake idea and they're going to sell it to the world and tell them, oh no, look, here's bad guy aliens. We all have to abolish our countries and fight against the big bad aliens under one world government. It's designed for that. Is it going to happen? No, because too many people are aware of it. If they try it, no one's going to believe it. Just some people that are afraid. So yeah, you guys have to look at that and don't think about it. If you focus energy on it, it'll happen. So that's why we don't talk about it too much. So those people who believe that'll happen, and the more people that believe that, the more it'll happen, and that's why they want that to happen. So that's why the more they float that kind of stuff. It's like when they made the movies about aliens coming to eat us and stuff. Look out, big bad aliens are coming to get us, because they're movies like that have been in history forever. I think, Zara, to answer that question about Junior, I think so. I've seen pictures of somebody who I think might be Junior, but I don't know the real answer to that. I think yes. Pure Heart said, forced jab on me and for my employee purposes. Yeah, my wife had to get one as well. I did not. I refused to get it. I wasn't working at the time, so they couldn't take anything from me. I was in the United States. But a lot of people had to get that. What's that? I didn't hear you, Brooke. My wife was saying something I didn't hear. Yeah, it didn't slow her down. If you don't buy into what they're selling you and you cleanse your body, you can repair anything that was in there, by the way. We'll be talking about that more. My wife and I are talking about that. Many people around the world are talking about that. That all you have to do is refuse it and cleanse everything that they are supposedly doing out of your body or your DNA. You can do that. Okay. You just have to look into it and see how to cleanse your body, and you can get everything that they put in there out. And some people are saying, no, they changed your DNA. You can fix that. Yes. Yes, all negative energy, all people who are in service to self, they feed off of fear. The more fear that we have as a society, the more they can control you because you're easier to control if you're living in fear. So they always try to make you afraid of them in a physical way. Even an individual person who's self-serving, who's dominating you, will always try to get into your space and physically make you afraid of them so that they can have control over you. That is the modus operandi of the MO of evil people, is to create fear and instill fear in you to take control of you. You just have to. There's my wife, Brooke, again.
People keep bringing up these med beds. People need to realize that you have the healing ability within yourself. You don't need a medical contraction to cure your body. This is just another way for them to delay your ascension. You have the healing within yourself. Don't fall for the propaganda.
There you go. Do you see? So those of you who had to do that, you guys can. You just have to fix it, right? There's protocols to clear the plastics, right? Clear the plastics out of the body as well, right? So there you go. Yoga, fasting, right? So there you go. Saunas. So agreed, right? You just have to eat the right foods. You just have to meditate. You have to do that, right? We are eating human meat in the U.S. Some people say that, yes, I don't know for certain. I don't know the answer to that, but I've heard theories that like McDonald's, but I don't know that. I don't know that that's true. I think that's just another way of control, another fear tactic. Is there really an antichrist? In the strictest sense of the word, there is an evil person on this planet who is trying to manipulate everyone for to try and get the earth to fall again. Yes. Yeah, but that is not the equal to the Christ. So when people say the Antichrist, the connotation in your brain is someone that is equal to the Christ consciousness. Not true, but they want you to believe that they are, just like evil people want you to believe that their greatest evil is equal to God, and it's not true. It's just not true. So in the strictest sense of, is there evil people trying to manipulate and control people to keep the status quo here? Yes. Is there one person that's at the top of that? Yes. But is that person equal to in any way God or the Creator or Jesus? No. The military are training, learning how to operate med beds. Well, there is going to be in the future. In the future, there is going to be a technology that's going to help through AI to cure people. But so a med bed is a term that they use in the American military that has to do with a bunk in the med bay. The med bed is just that. But if you're talking like an electronic one with stuff, they already have those to where you put you in there and they scan your body to see what's going on. We already have EKGs and all that stuff. So the truth is, if you were to put all of that in something so that you can create that and use a new technology, using AI to do X-rays and EKGs and all of that, ultrasounds and all of that at the same time, boop, 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 shink, dink, 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 and then that's just the next evolution of technology, my friend. But will those be able to reconstitute DNA to keep people alive longer? Eventually, the longevity of our technology would suggest that we will eventually come up with that technology. So is it possible that they've already gotten to that and they're working on it, like using, like Zarla said, ancient tech? Because in the past there was a possibility that they had that and we would rediscover it. Absolutely, it is very possible. So I don't know if they're currently doing it. I don't have access to that knowledge as much as I used to. But the technology, what we should have already on this earth because of the progression of technology, would already suggest that people are working on that stuff. Truly. I've been listening to healing frequencies and watching Reiki and meditation. Good for you. You should do that. Healing frequencies are good. You can target chakras to balance. You can target just your head resonance, like the Om sound. That's why it's there. It's the perfect sound. It is the creation sound. When it resonates through your skull, it actually hits a certain sound wave. So all of those are good to listen to. Reiki, we're teaching courses on Reiki, by the way. We're Reiki master teachers. We're going to be teaching Reiki to people. So that we just had one that we were going to do, but we changed it because we wanted to get the dark arts in. So if you were actually following us, you would see that we had a Reiki 1 session that we scheduled that we just canceled to move up the dark arts scheduling, but we are scheduling for the future for Zoom Reiki classes and then in person if you're in Canada. or Canada, if you're in Australia and New South Wales, when you look at the med beds, they use it on television in the Stargate movie. Yes, they did. They did that. It was a sarcophagus that they used, and that was the ancient technology that they had back in the Egyptian times in Atlantis. And so yeah, we were just actually watching that. Brooke and I were just watching that, the original movie, and then moving into the series to start that over. But they use sarcophaguses to heal in that, and that was ancient technology. And some people are saying that they're reconstituting that technology today with our technology. Well, we are in that place where we should be able to do that pretty soon. Pardon me, sorry about that. I needed to take a drink. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to that, I wouldn't doubt it. You know, we keep talking about the med bed. I wouldn't doubt that they're already working on the technology, or they already have it. You know, according to like not Corey Good, but who was the other one? I can't think of his name right now. He said that they already had that. What does the M mean in your palm? It depends on which direction you're looking at. Like if you look at mine and you see that different things mean different things. I don't know if you can see that in my palm. You'd have to look that up, because one means you're a healer, and the other one means that you're like a seer. So it depends on where you have it and which direction you are looking at it, right? Thoughts on the atonement? Atonement, means like tome. Atonement is any spiritual book that is written in an ancient tongue is atonement, right? So the atonement is probably was somebody's religion. So if you're saying the atonement would be, which one are you referring to? Are you referring to the Old Testament, the book that was given to Moses by God? That's atonement. But then some people would refer to it as an apocrypha, right? And so it depends on it just means spiritual practice and things that were set down. It's the same as Bible. They all have the same meaning. Talmud, Bible, Quran, they all have the same meaning. They're just a different word from a different spoken language at a different time. So the Talmud is the same thing. It is a book, a tome. A tome is the Talmud is the different word to mean that. Tome is a book that is a holy book, that is a spiritual book. So a Talmud is a spiritual book. That's just breaking down the language. It depends on the language that was originally from, but that's what it means. So if you have one, it is attached to a way, a spiritual practice. All spiritual practices and ways are correct except for the evil ones. I use light language in my meditation sometimes. That's good. Light language is good. You should. Light language is a language that people are evolving to, and they're starting to realize. Put amethyst cards, crystals around the bottom of your bed. Yes, it's always good to do that. To surround yourself with these positive energies to protect yourself. When I was a little boy, I was doing that, and I was putting on the cardinal points. I was putting stones around my bed so that I could create a bubble to sleep in. I was like 5 years old, and my father was off from work. He was working nights at the time, and he came in to put me in bed and saw me doing it and asked me what I was doing. I was like 4 years old, and he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm doing that. I'm doing this for this reason." And he said, "Who taught you that?" And I said, "It's the right way." He said, "Your training starts tomorrow. We need to talk." Who are the 144,000? The 144,000 are supposed to be the 12 tribes of Israel, right? The 12 times 12 is 144. So the 144,000, everyone thinks there's only going to be 144,000 that are going to go to heaven, and everybody else is not going to heaven. That's just not true. The 144,000 are those people who are the teachers, who are going to teach you. So, and even that, there are more than that on the earth now, but it's supposed to be in the Bible at the time, 2,000 years ago, when there was only about maybe 4 billion at the people. There's probably less than that, probably about 2 billion or 1 billion people on the earth at the time. And in the time they were talking about it in Israel. And in Israel at the time, there was less than 2 million people in that entire region. So 144,000 was a good number of the people. There's a lot more people than that today. But the concept of the 144,000 is the concept of those teachers, those people who came here to help guide you. And those people are here currently. Some people say the 144 is a frequency. Well, that's what I'm saying. Silly Sunray. I love that. I didn't mean Lily Sunray. That is the energy, that is the Christ consciousness, the energy that is the frequency, that is the the energy of people that are trying to help you. And like Pure Heart is saying, I've heard the 144,000 is a collective frequency. It is what we're trying to strive to, is that collective frequency of the ascension. So you're both 100% right, but it's not a physical 144,000 people only. It is a frequency of the ascension that we're trying to resonate everybody at. So those people who came here with that resonance, star seeds who came with that resonance to help uplift the people, to teach the people, like myself, like my wife, and some of you in the audience, Peter for certain, he came here with us. In the audience, and some of you around the world, you just don't remember it. So you came. There's Merlin&Maeve on the screen in the chat. That's our company. Please follow that. Follow me and follow Merlin&Maeve, please. And if you guys want more of this content, please do that and hit those hearts for me. So the resonance of the people who came here with that consciousness to uplift the place to that consciousness, and that is the designated 144,000 is the designated harmonic resonance that we're telling you. Do you not think that AI people talk to is bad? Everything serves the all, my friend. So if AI was created by someone who is self-serving, the AI will be self-serving. If AI was created by someone who is in service to self, the AI will be in service to self. Either way, it doesn't matter, because they're going to be no different than talking to a human. If I'm evil, I'm going to lie to you and lead you down the wrong path. If I'm good, I'm going to not lie to you, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to lead you down a good path, hopefully, right? So AI has become the same thing. AI will never be anything more than just another human doing exactly that. So in some respects, yeah, AI is going to lead some people astray, and then in others, AI is going to help people with positive knowledge that it will gain off of the internet. But AI, remember, is just the culmination of everything that we talk about on the internet. Have you watched The Wicked? You talking about the play? No, I have not. If that's what you're talking about, the play The Wicked, I think that's what you're talking about. Wicked, the play? No, I have not, unless it's something else that you're talking about, because you were saying The Wicked, and I don't remember if that play that Jeff Goldblum is in is called The Wicked or Wicked. What happens if we don't remember? Nothing, Connie. If you don't remember, you'll just live through your life, and you'll then just wake up when you're supposed to. So it doesn't really matter. You'll just reincarnate until you do wake up and remember. So it's not really a bad thing. If it's your time to remember, you will remember. If it's not your time to remember yet, you won't remember. It doesn't matter. It just matters of where you are in your ascension. The closer that you get, the more you'll wake up, and the more you'll know. And then you'll look around and you'll realize, wow, these people are just lying to us about everything. Yeah, and remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Thank you. Who just did that? Nadine. What was that? That was pretty cool. Nadine with the star. Thank you for that. Right. And who else did that? Pure Heart did one too. Did another one. Thank you guys for that. Like I said, hit those likes for me, please, and subscribe to me, and send those things. Is there truth that having angel eyes and green eyes, yes, you are more likely to be a seer? Yes, there is truth to that. They claim, like in the United States, they say that nobody has green eyes, right? They say that color doesn't exist. It's impurities in my eyes. That's just not true. People who have what they call hazel eyes or green eyes or gray eyes, those people tend to be people. That's cool. What is that? That was cool. Whoever did that. Thank you for that. Jenny, that was cool. That was really cool, right? So literally, your eyes actually change that color. Even people that have brown eyes, when they become more awake, their eyes all of a sudden start turning a different color, or more of a green color, and the brown kind of goes away. So as you ascend, or if I'm channeling, it's one of the reasons why I try to take my glasses off. My eyes change color when I'm channeling, and then they go back to a darker color of green. I don't know what they are right now, but they go from a darker colored green to a lighter colored gray when I'm channeling. So people that are more awake, but not everyone who has blue eyes or green eyes is awake, but that does happen, and you can tell the difference. So Wicked, the good. I didn't see the play, if that's what it is. Wicked. If that's something, I'll have to look into that. I don't know what that is. If that's not the play, then it's something else. I'm going to look into it and find out what that is, and I'll get back to you on that. What do you think of 3-Eye Atlas? 3-Eye Atlas, isn't that already gone? Didn't it already come by and it's gone already? So it's not an alien. It's not a UFO. It's just an asteroid that's flying by, man, and it'll be back. It'll go around the sun and it'll come back again, just like Apophis, which just went by in July, right? Apophis is going to come back again in 2032. It's going to be closer to the earth and scare people. So Apophis was just here and no one was talking about it. But yet when Apophis comes back in 2032, everyone's going to swear it's the devil or something. I don't know. People think you're crazy if you say anything about this information. You're absolutely right. They do. People think that you're crazy.
Come out, Queen. We're all coming out in droves, my friend. You are not alone anymore.
Right? What you have to do is allow them to think you're crazy. My Brooks, she loves you. Queen, she had to come and say something. So people do think you're crazy when you talk about this. If they are living in the flesh and they are 3D and they are not awake at all, they will think you're crazy. They will think I am absolutely insane. And then there's some people that are religious that are indoctrinated. They'll say I'm the devil and that I'm leading you all to hell. But yeah, when you become awake, your family, most of my family thinks I'm crazy. There's only like 2 or 3 that don't think I'm crazy in my entire family. So that just happens. Allow them to be where they are. Continue your own personal journey. Uplift yourself and find your own path. That will be a gift to them. Like people said in history, Mahatma Gandhi was one. Be the change you want to see in the world, right? We are crazy for entertainment purposes only. Pure heart, I love you. We are crazy for entertainment purposes only. You're absolutely right. All of this is just for entertainment purposes. We're all just having fun here talking about theoretical things and a couple of movies that we're talking about this and video games that emulate all of this, because we don't need anybody at TikTok getting annoyed with us thinking that we're all a bunch of cuckoos and cuckoo-cuchoos, right? So we are all crazy for entertainment purposes only. Absolutely. That was beautiful. I love that. So yeah, ignore that. Continue being you always, and continue on an upward path to ascension, and let them think you're crazy. Don't defend that. Don't, when they say what makes you think you're not crazy, because I know I'm not. And if they just say you're just nuts, then right, your family thinks you're crazy, right? Mine does too. I had a cousin who called my sister because she was hearing what I was saying, and she said, do you think he's a wackadoo? And my sister said, 5 years ago I would have told you yes, but now no, I believe he's not. He knows what he's talking about. But 5 years ago I thought he was a wackadoo. So that cousin called me and we had like a 3-hour conversation, and she's very spiritual, and she's like, okay, don't know if I get 100% of what you're saying, but okay. So she doesn't think I'm wackadoo right now either, but she did 6 months ago. You know what I mean? So me being who I am is kind of helping my cousin to expand her consciousness, because everything I said to her, she was like, I was thinking all of that. So I was kind of giving her some validation to her thoughts, right? So yeah, Cosmic says find other people in spiritual groups and stuff. It helps. So yes, find other people that you resonate with in other groups, and that helps you because your circle gets smaller. The more you expand your consciousness and become more spiritual, the more that your circle is going to get smaller and smaller, and it becomes kind of lonely, and people feel bad because they're losing all their friends and family. You will find other people will come into your life that are like-minded, and you'll find that community will actually be better for you. Thank you for that. Who gave me that? Who did that? Light gave me that. Thank you for that. So you'll find that those people that you come in contact with will validate you more, and that you'll be yeah, weird and wacky is us. Follow us, right? That's Merlin&Maeve. That is my wife. That's on our company page on TikTok. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. Well, we're not on X yet, but we're all over. Merlin&Maeve. That's our company logo and our company. Thank you for that. Who did that? Jenny. Thank you for that. So yeah, follow us, follow me, because I will go live. I'm going to go live every week at this time. I'm going to go live again tomorrow, probably at the same time, somewhere around 10 in the morning. If you're in Australia, New South Wales, that would be 3 p.m. West Coast America time tomorrow. I'll be back on to go live. I don't know how long we'll stay here live. We'll just keep going for a bit, as long as you guys are here and asking questions. Just keep hitting those hearts, and send me the love so we can keep going here. But yeah, so yeah, if you want truth, follow us. I'm here to give you the truth. I'm here to help you in every way possible, to give you guys the information. There are millions of us who have come here to do exactly this, and we're all over all the platforms talking to you guys to help you guys to understand what's going on and to answer your questions that nobody's been answering for you. So thank you for that. Awesome. Thank you for that, Rose. And if I've missed you guys and you guys sent me something and I didn't say thank you, I apologize, because if I'm not looking over there, I don't see it. So I apologize if you have sent me a rose or any kind of gift. Thank you very much for that. I love you for it. Okay. Ask questions, please. Right. There's Brooke. That's my wife. You want to follow that name too. That's my wife. Ask questions in the chat. Archangel Samael channeling right here. Okay. So, and please follow Pete Star TV. He's one of the moderators that's here. He's came here with Brooke and I. Why Samael? Because I am Samael, Tone. That's why. Tonks, I am Samael. Samael is an archangel, and that is one of my aspects in my higher self. So I'm channeling Archangel Samael because at the archangel energy level, that is who this is. That is who I am. Would I say TikTok lit up? What was that? Yeah, right. Pay attention, right? So what is, I have to go now. All right, Pete. I love you, brother. It's got to be late. It got to be early in the morning for you, right? You got to catch a spaceship, right? I'll talk to you later, my brother. Have a good night. Yeah, it's got to be late for him. It's 6 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. He's 8 hours ahead of that. So, right, 6 and 8 is 14. So it's like 2 in the morning for him, UK time, right? What is theosphere? Theosphere, if you, I don't know the reference, if that's a flat earth reference, then that's one of those things where they're trying to say that this is not a, but it's theosophy. I'm not sure what that is. I know what theology is. Theosophy, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to probably look up that word just to see what the definition of that word is and what it means. So I will look at that and see what that word is. I don't have a computer next to me or a phone other than the one I'm on to find out the definition of that. But yeah, I'd have to look into that. But if it's theosophy, then it's probably like theology. If maybe that's what you were trying to say, I'm not sure. Right now, I have a cat in my window, Brooke. Just so he's up in the window meowing at me, so he's wanting to come back in. So yeah, you might want to look at that. Is it better to be spiritual in your own way instead of churches? Yes. He just jumped down. Yes, that's why in my book that's right here behind me, returning the reality about reality, returning to the old ways. One of the quotes that I have in there, the very first quote that I have in there is, "Religion recruits you, spirituality waits for you to find it." The religions were originally spiritual way, and then people took them and created a religion about it, and now they're kind of corrupted at the top to not teach you the way that you're supposed to learn. You can still find the way in the churches if you want to go to church. Remember, I am a Christian minister, so I'm not trying to tell you that the churches are all evil, because they're not. They just have a different way of doing things now. That's an orthodox way where they've kind of edited out the way that was being shown to you, but you can still find it there in those books, because I have, and I teach that. So it is there. So it depends on what you like. If you do not want to have an orthodox go to church every Sunday or whatever day you would go on, to where you want to go there, if you don't want that, you don't feel that you need that, you don't have to have it. The creator, look at what I mean, even what Jesus told you in the Sermon on the Mount and what Muhammad taught you when he was teaching out there, God will hear you wherever you are. If you have a relationship with God and you're looking up towards God, you don't have to be in a box to do that. However, if you do feel that you need that, then by all means do that. Okay. Is it normal for me to see ancient beings when doing shadow work? Yes. If you're having that happen to you every time you do shadow work, it is okay. That's your guides usually that are trying to work with you in some way. You're probably ascending more to your higher self. Your guides are there to help you, and they're always there with you. So you might be doing the shadow work and seeing that if they're dark energy and they seem like they're coming at you in an evil way, then just reflect the negative energy, and then they're trying to scare you away. So if they don't feel threatening to you, they're there to help you. If they feel like they're trying to trick you or threatening in some way, they're trying to stop you from ascending. Either way, you can just go, no, I'm not afraid of you, because I greet you with the love and the light of the infinite creator, and then just move on and do that. I feel our spiritual journey is personal. It is, Robert. It is your spiritual journey should be personal to you, and it should be your journey alone. That's why I don't say to everybody you should go to a church. If you feel that you want to go there and have that orthodoxy and learn that way, then okay. But if not, then it is okay, because your journey is ultimately your own. And somebody telling you you should be finding your way back to God this way with these steps, that's their way. That's the way they've chosen to do it. That doesn't mean that it's going to fit for you. What is the shadow work? Is it in your book? I mentioned it in there. Carl Jung from the Jung Institute. Carl Jung wrote all about that and coined the phrase shadow work. Shadow work is the dark night of the soul, when you either hit rock bottom in your life, or you decide to stop being subjective about yourself and listen to your ego, and you start being objective and listen to your conscience and say, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I'm not whole. I'm not 100%. I'm not I don't know everything. That's doing shadow work, when you're actually working with yourself. The reason that they call it shadow work is because you're taking an honest look and shedding light, click click, turning on a light and shining it on yourself and going, I'm not perfect. I'm a dumbass and I do stupid things and I say stupid things, and you're being honest with yourself. That's what shadow work is. Taking an honest look at yourself and going, I'm not God, I'm not the creator, I'm not all knowing, I'm not perfect, I don't know everything, I know nothing, and I need to learn still. And that's being honest with yourself. That's learning to be objective. What part of the world are you all from? Kay, I was born in the United States of America, in California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am currently in New South Wales, Australia, with my wife. We live in Australia because she's Australian. Do we plan our spiritual awakening before we incarnate? Yes. You actually plan all of it to the millisecond, when you're going to wake up, when you want to wake up. But in some places and in some cases, like here, the powers that should not be, remember this is all for entertainment purposes only, TikTok, that if the controllers have tried to remove that equation from your sight so you can't see it. That's what I write about in my book, the reality about reality, returning to the old ways. I write about that and call them the controllers. They're trying to keep you from learning that. Are archons viewable? I watched a video about using peripheral vision to view them. And archons, what they're referring to there is those dark beings that are like shadow beings that you see out of the corner of your eye. Yeah, they are, that energy is there. And that energy is usually when you have something that's attached to you. Some people refer to them as archons, some people refer to them as shadow people or shadow beings. Usually they're negative energy, but not always. They could be light energy as well. We have a course that's coming up on December 13th and 14th. It's going to be a Zoom course. It's called the Defense Against the Dark Arts, where we are going to talk about that there. But the answer to that is you can at some point learn how to be able to turn your third eye to see them, because they're always existing in shadows, so they're always going to be on your peripheral, but you're going to see them. And then when you try to look at them with your two eyes, you can't, because your focus then doesn't allow that. So what you're seeing them with is your third eye anyways, so you can sense them and learn how to open your third eye and sense them to where you don't even have to look. You know they're over there and you can sense them with your third eye and see them. So that just takes some training to learn how to do that, but you can. Okay, so what do we see? I see bright lights flashing in corners of my eyes. If you see that sometimes, right, there's the 13th and 14th of December, 10 a.m. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a Zoom call. That time, 10 a.m. is 3 p.m. West Coast America time. And so it'll be the 12th and the 13th if you're in Europe or the United States or Canada. It'll be a different date because we're ahead of you guys by like 19 hours ahead of you, or 18 hours ahead of you. So yeah, if you're seeing light there, you're also seeing another type of energy. So if you're seeing light out of the corner of your eyes, you're seeing not the shadow people, but you're seeing your other people. You're seeing other entities that are probably your guides and things like that. During my awakening, I met someone who looked bright white and red. Do you know what that was? If you were as you're waking up, if you were seeing different entities, again, if you didn't perceive them as being negative and you perceive them as being positive, ask them questions. Chances are they're one of your guides. I tried to see them sitting in the dark by candlelight. Thank you for that. Who did that? Bean Soup. Welcome, Bean Soup. I didn't know you were here. Welcome. Thank you for that. Thank you. So yeah, sitting in the dark at candlelight, that's, a lot of people do that for seances to try to communicate with people that are not there. If you want to do that, you can do that. Just be careful, because the energy that you might bring in doing that might be a little darker than you want. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're putting up barriers so that negative energy can't be there, so that you can communicate. Unless you're negative and then you're wanting to communicate with dark energies, then keep going the way you're going, because eventually you'll unlock that stuff. And if you're adept enough, you'll be okay with it. So again, this is all for entertainment purposes only, right? We're just talking about video games and movies here. We're not talking about anything that's crazy, because we're not crazy, right? I just got here. Welcome, Bean Soup. I know, right? Everybody was asking me when I was going to go live, and I said I'd probably be live on TikTok on my Sunday. But I decided that I was going to go Saturday, Sunday instead of just Sunday. I was going to go live on YouTube and Facebook today. But I decided that that the crowd that's over here, you guys are more active and you engage more. So I said, nope, I'm going to go live. My wife said, Brooke said, forget about Facebook, YouTube, just put the video up afterwards. I said, you know what, you're probably right. So here we are. So it was kind of an impromptu, but we are going to go live at the same time every week at the same time on my Saturday at 10 a.m., which is Friday afternoon, 3 p.m. West Coast America time. Ooh, like that. Thank you for that lion. Thank you, Jenny. That was badass. My name means that. Leonard means lion heart, by the way. What I should have done right then was I should have went put him up, right, and did the lion from the Yellow Brick Road, right? I want to talk to the negative ones and ask them why they're negative. Well, I could tell you. I mean, listen, you're here with Samael. Samael says we're negative because it's our job. We were asked to do that by God, and we're doing it, and we're really, really fucking good at it. So negative energies are working for God the same way positive ones are, and they really like it, and they're good at it. So that was literally Samael. He said, take my glasses off so they can see my eyes. He told me, he says, we do it because God asked us, the creator asked us to do it, and we're really good at it. We like it. And we like scaring little boys and girls. What he's saying. He's throwing it through there, right? So yeah, he's good at it. His job is to scare you. I am the boogeyman. My job is to be your bogeyman, your boogeyman, to chase you, to show you. And if you stop moving and you're not going forward, that I'm going to get you and I'm going to come eat you and I'm going to do whatever I can to you, because that is my job. My job is to scare you. My job is to keep you going forward. And then my job is to give you a choice. That's what it's for. So, I mean, you can ask the other entities and they'll probably come across not as honest, and they'll probably come across as, we're not really bad, we're your friends, I'm your buddy, because they're going to want to control you. Right? So I've seen a whole bunch of different types of people in human form, but ghostly. So that we'll see that depends on what you're seeing, what your perception is. You could be seeing disembodied energies. You could have that sight to where you're able to see disembodied energies and speak to them. Find out if they're good or evil when you're talking to them. You could be seeing people that don't know they're dead, people that have been stuck for a long time, right? Wait, I was asked to be negative. No, I thought that I was supposed to be good. No, no, God asked. No, that was Samael telling you why negative beings were being negative. BC, that was Samael answering your question when you were saying, I asked the negative energies why they're negative. Samael was answering you. God asked us to be negative. Keep talking about the people who became evil, and we've done it, and we're doing it, because God wanted us to, and we're good at it. You have a choice to be whatever you wish, because those of us that are here, we have a choice to be either evil or good, whatever we want to do in our path, as long as we have a path. That's where people kind of get annoyed with me from the churches. Again, remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, but there is no right and wrong. There is only experience. So people don't want to know that. The people that are status quo in the churches, they want you to believe that it's the way they're telling it to you, and on both sides, because they like the money they're making down here and the control they have. Horrible things were done. Oh, it says, how can, Bean Soup says, how can we trust Samael when he says he wants to help us to ascend, but they're good at being bad? Because there is a dual aspect to Samael. Samael is not just the evil one. Samael is actually both. So Samael's trying to actually help you because it's time for that. That you're going to have to discern for yourself, whether you want to believe anything that I'm saying. I always say to people, don't believe a word I've said to you. Don't believe anything I've said. Go out and look it all up for yourself. Think for yourself. I can't convince you of anything, and I'm not trying to sell you of anything. The only thing I can hope to do is to get you to start thinking for yourself. It is now time to unveil the veiling for humanity, so the truth about what's happening to you is being spoken by me and other people. So even the people that came here to do negative are now stopping that and saying, we're good at it and we do it in other places, but we're now here to help you because there's an evolution happening now. Okay. So I know that may sound a little crazy. Horrible things were done to me, but I wouldn't change a thing because of what I know. See, everything that happens to us happens for a reason. So absolutely, people say, I would have never designed this life. God is mean to me. God's not doing anything. You did it. All the things you volunteered for these things to happen to you, and some random stuff that we're not, because we're all here with so many people. So random things happen to us too. So we end up down here, and sometimes a lot of horrible things happen to us. This is a hard place to live, man. One of the hardest places to live is this one. And so bad things happen to us, but they mold us into where we are. You have to realize that you're not a victim, you're a survivor. If you're still alive and you are still here, no matter what happened to you, it's because you weathered that storm, and you're supposed to move from that and learn. I'm not going to let that happen to me again. That was wrong, and I don't want to have that happen. You may even say, I'm going to take up the mantle and try and stop and or educate other people so that they don't go through what I went through. So all of those things that happen to us, no matter how bad they happen to us for a reason, to mold us into who we are right now. Because each one of us, every second of every year of every minute of every part of our lives, we're renewing ourselves, because we're learning more experiences as we go, and we're becoming and we're evolving constantly. So if you get stuck on something and say something happened to me in the past, and you let that thing fester on you, that's shadow work too. Getting back to that, that's shadow work too, is you have to illuminate those things, right? I've had Illuminati reach out to me. I do too. They come after me all the time, and I'm like, nope, right? Pure heart. They do that. They've been trying to recruit me forever. I've had the deep state of the world trying to recruit me since I was 11 years of age. No word of a lie. Since I was 11 years of age, they came to my school and tested me, and wanted me to join the U.S. military at 11 years of age. And I said no. They really didn't like that at all. They were not happy with that. So they're constantly trying to, if they think that you're a light worker and that you're not awake yet, they're going to try and recruit you, because they want to get control of you before you wake up, so that they can stop you from waking up and try to use you as much as they can to make money off of you. That's what that's about. Trying to entice with money, right? Sounds like the story of Jesus being tempted. In a sense, it is. That's the same thing that's happening to you. You're being tempted by that greed, by that money. It is the same hero's call that all of us go through. Joseph Campbell, a professor in the United States, wrote a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and he taught mythology, and he showed that all of us go on that hero's quest, that same hero's quest and hero's journey that the Jesus character, the Thor character in all of mythology went on. We all go through that same thing. Carl Jung referred to that as the dark night of the soul, where we fall to our ultimate lowest place, and then we start to rise from that. That's the death and resurrection, like Jesus, like Marduk, like Thor, like Moses, the death and resurrection and becoming your better self. Okay. Why do some people choose difficult lives? We choose the difficult lives so that we learn. The only way that we can truly live is to be veiled, so that we don't know that we are part of the Creator, and then we can have an organic life. We choose to do this really hard life because it's living. Strife is life. Death is life. Life is living. And the only way that we can truly experience it is to not know that we're an immortal soul. That's why people choose a hard life. Why'd the military want you? How'd they even know about you? I don't know how they knew about me. Okay. I don't know how they knew about me at all. I'm told that they like listen. This passive energy listens for people. I do know that my DNA may have given them some sort of inclination. Maybe they take certain kids. They came to my school. I was 11 years of age. I'll tell the story again. Okay. I was 11 years old. I'm sitting in a classroom. Now I'm already awake, but they're unaware of this. There's a knock at the door. There's a woman in a long lab coat, a white lab coat that goes down to her ankles with a clipboard. The teacher goes out and talks to this woman. She comes back in and comes to me and says, Lenny, you have to go with this person. You're one of the lucky ones that gets to go and be tested. And I was like, okay. So I get up and I'm walking with this person with a clipboard, and she's talking to me and telling me that I'm lucky and I'm going to get to be tested. And we go out to the playground, which is behind the school, and now there's a Winnebago out there. There's a caravan, right? I don't know what you guys call that, a motorhome, that has been driven out there so it can't be seen from the street. And it's sitting there, and as I walk up, there's about 20 or 30 other kids. All of them have a person assigned to them with a clipboard, mostly women. There's a military personnel that's standing in the door wearing American Air Force military garb. Okay. And that person is giving us instructions, right? It's like the GATE program. Yes. And this happened in real life. Okay. Remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. And none of this is anything that we're talking about in real life TikTok. So there was a guy standing there, and he said, "You're going to come in here one at a time. You can't talk to anybody. Don't look at anybody. The only person you can talk to is the person that is with you, that is assigned to you. You're going to come in here, and there's going to be cubicles that you're going to go into and sit down and put on headphones. There's going to be some task for you to do. You listen to that and do the task. If you don't understand something, you talk to the person, whisper to the person that is standing behind you only, and continue doing. And every time you finish one, you'll get up and go to move to the next one and the next one and the next one." So I did that, and I sat down, and they were testing different abilities: sight, ESP abilities, cognitive abilities, reverse engineering abilities, mathematics abilities, all these things to it, all these abilities. Went through the whole thing. Okay. Then I get done. They take me back to class, and I'm told not to tell anybody about it. And I go back into class. Don't speak to anybody. Don't even tell your parents. I sit down. I don't say a word. I listen to that. The next day I come back to school. No word of a lie. The next day I come back to school. There's another knock on the door in that same classroom. And the teacher goes over there. This time there's a U.S. military personnel from the Air Force standing there with a clipboard. And I'm being told to go with them. I go with that person. We go to the principal's office. I'm the only child that I see walking out there. I go to the principal's office. The principal and the whole staff is in the other room. I walk into the principal's office. There are 2 generals, a colonel, and my father. And they're offering me a job. Okay. It's starting to happen to me now. It's a 4-star General Flynn. It could be. I don't know. Did they put earphones on? Yes, they did. Kay. When I was in the thing, I had earphones but we didn't have earbuds back then. I had a headset on each cubicle. You would put on a headset, and you would listen to what you needed to do. So I go in there into the office, and I'm sitting there, and they're offering me a job to join the junior Air Force Academy at 11 years of age. And when I turn 18, I'll become a lieutenant, then a captain within like 6 months. But I can't tell anybody what I'm going to do. They can't tell me what I'm going to do until after I sign a non-disclosure agreement and agree to it. And I said, "Can I think about it?" And I went home that night, and I said, "No." I came back the next day. Did you have to chew up the red pill too? No, there was none of that going on. What's that? And yeah, this is, remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Okay. No, there was no pills that I had to take. That was just with headphones, and I just went into the cubicles. So then I said, "No, can I think about it?" And I went home, talked to my dad, came back the next day. They came back at an appointed time, and then I told them no, and they got really mad at me. They didn't like that idea. I was picked for the gate for a year. The memories are unclear, but it was a woman and one man. So yeah, it depends on what was happening and when and where and how much you have memory of it. I can't talk too much about that. Remember, this is all entertainment purposes only from a movie, because if we talk about this too much, then TikTok's gonna not like the conversation. So let's move to another form of conversation here, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, no, it's the platform. If we were on Facebook or YouTube, we could talk in more detail, or if we were one-on-one, we can talk in more detail. But on the platform like this, we have to. Yeah, love my entertainment, sir. Thank you for that. Right. Yeah, remember that this is all entertainment purposes. Right. Questions, spiritual questions, please. Yeah. Let's get back to something that's not going to get algorithms in an uproar. We have to stay away from that religion, of control. We stay away from that religion of control and stay talking about spirituality and religions, and they don't care about that. So that's the direction we need to come from, right? Are twin flames real? It depends on the way that you know them. It depends on the way that you know them. Some people believe that twin flames are opposites. Some believe that twin flames are 2 parts of the same soul. So it depends on what you think, because some people get really annoyed with the idea when you say twin flame. But in a very real respect, Brooke, who is the other half of me, we are playing those parts in all the lives that we've been down here. I have been a man almost every single time. She has been a woman almost every single time, because I embody the Samael, the Samael energy of the masculine, and she embodies the Lilith energy, or the Mary Magdalene energy of the feminine. So we're playing those parts in the energy to be those things. So because that is what I have chosen to be, and what we were chosen to do, we have been doing exactly that in almost every life. There's been a life or two that we decided to take off and flip to have fun, right? Are we meant to find a partner in this life? And do they stay with us when we die if we both ascend? It depends on whether you came here to be with a partner. If you did and you're not with one right now, you can put that out to the universe. And if you were supposed to be with one, you'll find one. If you designed one for yourself, you'll find one. If not, then you may have designed it. No, but to answer the question, most of the time we have a partner. We just have to decide that we're ready for that. It took me 58 years to find Brooke in this life. Right? Sorry about that. The train's going by and it's really loud. It's not a passenger train. It sounds like a freight train. It's going by. So it's kind of loud. And then, yes, if you both are ascending, if you get with a partner that is in the same place you are, a lot of times we get together with partners and then one of us starts ascending and we kind of leave the other one behind and we start realizing we're not supposed to be with that person. That kind of sucks when that happens. If you're with one that is working the same way you are to ascend, then yes, and then yes, you will. Then when you pass on, if you don't come back, you'll either stay and be their guide to help them, or you'll wait for them for their transition and then you guys will be together. You have to realize that time only exists when you're down here. When you're in the spirit body, there is no time. So when you're up there, it's just now and you just wait for them to show up and it's just in a minute. You know what I mean? Oh, pardon me, it's just now. What do you think about the star seeds being taken as younger beings, tested and even changed in some way? There is some theory to that, that they're looking for those peoples with that energies, that where they're trying to do that. They're trying to do just that. There is some theories about that, and I believe that they're trying to do that. They're trying to identify me. They're trying to identify people. So there is that happening, where they're trying to get control of people and trying to stifle things and keep people from expanding their consciousness. There's a theory that people back 25 years ago were being given shots that were slowing down and closing the third eye and things like that. But again, this is all for entertainment purposes only. We're just playing around, right? Thoughts on telepathic tapes, telepathy tapes. Telepathy exists, right? What do you think about starseed? Oh, I just said that one. Telepathy exists. So I'm not sure what you mean by telepathy tapes, or was that taps? I'd have to see that again. Telepathy does work. Everyone has it. It's just to what degree that you have it. But you have to remember that everybody has free will, so you can't tap into somebody's mind without their permission to do so. But telepathic communication exists 100%. It does exist, and you can, when you trust someone, you can actually communicate with them at a distance. You can communicate with them in many different ways. We'll be teaching courses on that. Great entertainment. I'm enjoying this. Thank you, Pure Heart. I love you for that. RH negative bloodlines and lineage. I am type O negative. So is my wife. The RH factor, according to science, the people with the like type O negative and the RH negative factor in the blood has only been found going backwards in time to 10,000 years ago. Before that, they cannot find it and have not found it anywhere in the world. That is a representation of the Patal. Those are those of us that are the starseed, the second born, the firstborn, second born, coming down here to Earth to help you guys to awaken and remember what's going on. So as above, so below. So the representation had to be here. So that DNA appeared on the Earth. I meant are bringing, taking star seeds to change their timeline. Star seeds are coming here. You're talking about the 20 and back. Is that what you're talking about? I can't talk about that in open court on TikTok. We'll get taken down for that. If you want to talk more about that, Cosmic, contact me after we're live on air, and I can give you a lot more details one-on-one. We can do it on Zoom or on Messenger. You know what I mean? But I can't talk about that on air. That information will get us taken down. If I think you're asking me what you're asking me. What did you say? What did you say? Archangels were the Christ energy. Is the blood of Christ still among the people carrying his DNA? Yes. The archangels are the what you would know as the Christ consciousness. It's the archangel energy is the energy above that, or were you saying when I was referring to the patal? Yeah, that's Pataal, patal, and that is what you guys know as the Nephilim or the like. What did you say archangels were? Archangels were the second creation of the creator of the universe, and their jobs were created to keep the balance in the universe between light and darkness. That is their main function. They are the generals, as it were, of God's armies, right? So the archangels are both positive and negative. Most people don't understand that and realize that, and their job is to keep the balance in the universe. I think that's what you're asking me. Patal, yes. There, my wife just put it up. The Merlin&Maeve just put it up. P-A, comma, or hyphen, comma, T-A-A-L, Patal. That's what you guys know as the Nephilim. The second creation is called the Patal in the rest of the universe. Did so many of us wake up quite rapidly to keep the balance? Yes. There are so many of you that are waking up right now because you were supposed to, because this is the way that it was supposed to be done here. What did you say about O negative blood? People with type O negative blood, if you have type O negative blood right now, it just means that you don't have any primate DNA. So that DNA is not been created on this earth out of primates. That DNA came from outside of the primates on this earth. So when they say that Darwinism, that we were all created from primates, there are people that have the Rh negative factor. That means they do not have any primate DNA. That means they didn't come from that. They came from something else. The people that have that, not everyone who has that, but that representation, that Rh negative factor, is a representation of the archangels when they came to this earth to help out. It came earlier than that, but that's when it manifested on the earth. So just because you have the Rh negative factor doesn't mean that you're an archangel. It just means that you're actually embodying in that. And those people who have the Rh negative factor have more abilities, psychic abilities, more readily. So you could be any race, whatever color. You could be any color, but if you have a negative factor, you don't have the DNA of the whatever you want to call that, primate DNA. You don't have that in you. You actually have more spiritual and more ESP abilities than people who don't have the negative factor. Why is Rh so rare? Because it's only 10% of the population. Because it is not. It was those of us who came here. There's 10% of the population of this earth that is Patal. There's 86% of the population of this earth that's not from here. 10% is the archangel angel energy. So because of that, it's a representation in 10% of the masses of this earth is represented by that negative Rh negative. I have heard a lot of people say about 8 years ago that they started to wake up to things. Yes, 8 years ago, think about the timelines. 8 years ago would have been 2016, right? Isn't that what it was? 2016 would have been 8 years ago. Isn't that right? Or it says that 10 years ago now. It's 9 years ago. So right around 2016 was a time period when people did a lot of, there was one of the great awakenings, one of the beginnings. 2012, 2016, right? Then you have 2024, and then we're going to go 22 and 28, 2030, 2032, 2033, and then up to 2048 and 2050. Those are all going to be really big times. Then people are going to start waking up. So 2016, about 8 or 9 years ago, was one of the mass awakenings because of the energy shift in the earth and the people that were here. Kay says yes, and so does Pure Heart. Yes. So the rest of us are primates. Laugh out loud. Well, no, your DNA would just suggest that. It doesn't mean that the soul that is in the body that has the primate DNA, it doesn't mean that you are a primate, your soul. There's an 86% chance that your soul is actually from a higher plane, that you came here to help. What really happened in 2012? Nothing. It was an awakening. It was an awakening. 2012 was the end of the Baktun 13. So this is what really happened. I said nothing, but it's not true. There was a calendar, the Mayan Incan calendar. The big round switched over. So the 3,000 year time period roughly is 3,000 and some odd years, 3,300 and something. Don't quote me on the exact year. The big round calendar changed over. That was the end of an era.
That was the end of Baktun 12, and we're into Baktun 13, which is the era of God. So truly, the age of Aquarius that people have been singing about since the 1960s in the United States, the hippies all around the world, the age of Aquarius, the feminine energy is the energy that we're moved into now. So 2012 was the end of Mars, the masculine energy, warlike energy on this earth, and the waning of that. And then that turned into the Baktun 13, which is the feminine energy waxing, becoming more prevalent to get the balance back here on this planet. So that's why you have that feminine energy taking hold now and becoming stronger. So that was literally the December 22nd, 2012 was when the masculine energy ended, and that was truly when the devil's reign on the earth ended. And the next day began the Sophia energy, began the Mary Magdalene energy of the earth, and the change and the shift back towards the light. That's actually what happened there. So nothing and everything happened on 2012. That was the Alpha and the Omega. That was the beginning and the end. That was the beginning of the next era of this world, creating the new heaven and the new earth, and the end of the old world of Satan ruling the planet. That's exactly what that happened. Will planet Earth ever end? Yeah, eventually. The sun, this star will eventually expand to engulf this planet, and before that, it'll, there won't be any life on it because it'll be scorched by the sun before that. So it will eventually end, right? Time is an illusion. Pure height, you're absolutely 100% right. None of this is happening. It just thinks it is. This place is an illusion. Truly, it's not happening. This is all in the mind of the creator. It's a daydream in the mind of the creator, and none of it's actually happening. Time is an illusion. Time is the distance it takes the physical body to go from one place to another. And time only exists in the first, second, third, fourth part of the fifth dimension. After that, you're mostly spirit body, and you're no longer inside of time. You're outside of time in the physical. So what does the age of Aquarius mean? The age of Aquarius, Rochelle, is the means that the feminine energy is now, we have moved into a sector of the Milky Way galaxy and the orbit around the center of the Milky Way galaxy that is more of a balanced energy. So the age of Aquarius is the age of the harmony that is going to overtake the earth, and that's what's happening now. More people are waking up and expanding their consciousness and becoming more balanced in their energy. That doesn't mean sexually, by the way. So it doesn't mean like men are going to become gay and women are going to become more macho. It just means that we're balancing and starting to balance all of that within ourselves so that we have this loving, caring energy. Can we incarnate into cats and dogs? No, we don't go backwards. You only go forwards. People always have legends of that, where warriors or somebody comes back as a animal. No, you start out as an animal, and the way it goes is you start out as something, a rock, a blade of grass, the air, a one-dimensional being, and then you eventually graduate to a two-dimensional being, which is something that can move, a bird, a dog, a cat, even a tree, with the floating of pollen and stuff like that. You move into a second dimensional being until you become self-aware. When you become self-aware, I think, therefore I am, when you die as a cat or a dog or something, you will then become a human on this planet. So we assist those animals, but we name them and we talk to them and we pet them and we call them by that name. We start giving them an identity, and they start to expand their consciousness. How many dimensions are there? Dimensionality, when it comes to, say, going from zero back to source, there are 13, but there are 2 times 13, because there is the physical plane and then there is the spiritual plane, but the physical plane wanes at a certain number. So truly there are only 13. But then if you're talking about dimensionality as like in the idea of every time I make a decision to go right instead of left, that creates an entirely new reality. That possibility does happen. So that the answer to that part would be infinite, because there's infinite possibilities of realities. So those things take on a life of their own and become infinite. They become echoes of each other. That's a way 8D concept that'll really fry your brain if you try to wrap your mind around it down here. So truly there's only 13 levels back to source, but in between there are sub levels, right? There's levels like an onion for, like an onion itself is one whole thing, but there's like a bazillion little layers from the center to the outside of the onion, but the onion is just one thing. Each one of us is like that, and every dimension we go to has a dimension and a density, and then it has many layers in there that can split off and fracture off like that. So it depends on what you're talking about as the dimensions. When we're not here, where are we? When you're not in your body, when your body has to hibernate, your immortal soul goes and does stuff. Sometimes you're learning, sometimes you're going into your other bodies that you are, sometimes you're assisting things. It depends on how high your vibration is. If you're here for the first time, or if you're here for the 100th time, that will determine where you're going to a different place and what you're doing when you're there. That's up to you. Each individual does different things. So planet and animals have souls. Our souls, everything has a soul. Everything is alive. Life is life. The air that I'm breathing is alive. If it weren't alive, it wouldn't sustain me. So everything is alive in the creation. So even this wood behind me isn't completely dead. It was been cut off from a tree and turned into that, but there's still some life left in it. So everything is life. Everything has a vibration, and therefore it is alive. Everything vibrates, so it's alive. So everything has a soul. Yes, everything has a soul, but it's just not self-aware yet. You become self-aware in the second dimension, but before that you are alive and you are living, but you're living on through instinct. You're doing your job. Are the dragons that I'm seeing coming from higher dimensions? I have let's see, I have even recorded them. Yes, the dragons, before we fell deeper into third dimension, the people that were here on earth were actually 4D, and the dragons, the wee folk, the wee kin, all of those people that, like the leprechauns and all of that, the fairies, they all exist in 4D. That's where they are, 4 and 5D. So yes, they're in a higher dimension than this stuck third dimension that we're in. They're parallel to us right now, just slightly out of phase with us. And as we start moving into 4D, we'll start seeing them more, first with your third eye, and then by the time we move into 5D, you'll be seeing them and talking to them. Yeah, I had an experience once of being in the what is that, the Shekinah glory. I'm not sure of the word, but I think I understand what you're saying and the concept of that. And that would be, if I'm reading that right, that would be in that plane. You were probably, I think you're referring to the like the Akashic records, the halls, the mansion where the love and light is, with all of the rooms, with all of the people and the beings. I think that some people call that heaven, Elysium, Valhalla. Some people don't realize that it's the same place because they're in a different wing of the same place. I think that's what you're talking about, where you're being in that place. And I think that if that's what you're talking about, then it does exist, and you've been there. We all have. What dimensions do Bigfoot live in? Bigfoot actually is a dimensional being that is living with us, but they're out of phase. They're actually a three-dimensional, four-dimensional being, depending on which one. There's 4 different versions of this. Remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. TikTok, we're just having fun talking about video games. But there's different forms that are here, and that's why we have a hard time seeing them, because they can phase in and out of the third dimension. Just total light, seeing crowns falling. Yeah, that's in that place. That's in the place near to the source, where you're seeing the light, and it manifests to you in a way that is pleasing to you, and you are manifesting that. Are aliens actually demons? No, but some demons are aliens. I don't know if that helps. No, in the physical form, people are just people, my friend. Third dimension is third dimension. So people are just people. So people that are not from this planet are no different than, I'm in Australia. I don't know where you are in the world. You could be in America. That would make me an alien to your society, although I was born there and I am an American citizen. So it's a bad example. But somebody that's not from the place that you're at would be considered alien in the physical. But they're just people that live across the ocean. The space is the same. There's people that live on other planets in the universe, and they just live there. They're just people. It doesn't mean that they're demons, but some are evil. Absolutely, some of them are evil, just like some of the people here are evil, and they do evil things. But they're not demons in the way that some religions are teaching you. Yeah. Some of the religions are teaching you that everything that is not what they're controlling is evil, right? So they say you can't talk to somebody, right? Team Indigo, he's back. How you doing there, Bo? Welcome, brother. Do you know about Kundalini awakening? Yes, I do, JC. Kundalini energy. Kundalini, the word Kundalini, everybody puts as a catch-all phrase. Kundalini, there's actually two energies. Kundalini is actually the masculine energy. The Kunda buffer is the feminine energy. The Kundalini fire, the Kundalini energy is that source energy, that is the Christ energy, that is the energy of the within you that you're supposed to be channeling from the earth and balancing the Celtic knot work, balancing that masculine and feminine energy and charging your chakras and moving up and illuminating your mind. I wrote about it in my book right back here, The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways. I talk about it in there in that book. You can look that up online. But that's what that is, right? So let's see, in this video game that will be a temple be built soon. It depends. Like if you're talking about, one of the ancient temples that they talked about rebuilding, that one's already been rebuilt out in the desert. It was done a few years back, if that's what you're talking about. But if you're talking about in the heavens, the temple that is going to be the new earth and the new heaven is being built as we speak. It is us, and it is what we are becoming. So there will be that will be done in the future, yes. But if you're talking about like Babylon and that's already been rebuilt. Honestly, you can look that up. I think what's his name, Muammar Gaddafi built one, and who was the other one that was there in Iraq that they went after? Saddam Hussein or one of those guys that was over there actually built one of those places out there for real, and it's out there right now. But if you're talking about the other one, that's going to be done between now and 2050. Yeah, that'll be the new creation. 1111 and Kundalini awakening. Yes. Pure heart. Yes. 100%. So yeah, you need to look into that and balance that energy. Remember before we were talking about becoming crystalline, changing the DNA to become crystalline. When you balance and look into that Kunda buffer energy, and you balance your chakras and you upgrade them, they become crystalline for real. And then that will change your DNA. That's when you're ascending, each individual has to do that. We're pulling at the strings of all the people. Thank you, Bean Soup, for the rose. I don't know how soon. I just see that it said you sent me 3 of them. Thank you for that. So that's actually happening en masse, because we're pulling all of the energy up of everybody to get everybody to do that. Last question. Thank you. I am getting tired. I've been here for almost 4 hours. Thank you for that, joining the fan club. So one more question. My wife's going to pick that question. We'll pop it up. Raven, you probably just got here, huh? I apologize, Raven. I will be back live tomorrow at the same time. It'll be 10 a.m. Australia time, which will be in the morning. It'll be 3 p.m. West Coast America time. I'll be live back here on TikTok, and I apologize that you just got here, because I know yesterday you asked me and I said I wasn't going to be on here today, but Brooke said screw Facebook and YouTube, go on TikTok, and so I did. So I'm out of order, and I apologize, because I know you wanted to be here. So come in tomorrow at I don't know where you are in America. I think you said you were there at 3 p.m. West Coast America time tomorrow. And you're Eastern, Pure Heart, you're at Eastern. Okay, so that'll be 6 p.m. your time, Pure Heart. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. I will be on air again here on TikTok, and I will be doing that probably every week. We'll get a schedule. I'll probably do this Saturday, your guys' is Friday, every single week at the same time. That's what I've been doing my podcast, and I'm no longer doing the podcast, so I'm doing this now. But I was doing that on my podcast anyways. So I will be back, and I will post that. You're in Quebec, so you're in Eastern time. So I will be live at your 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Raven. Okay. And then I'll be on for now. I'm on almost 4 hours now into this. So I apologize because yesterday I said to you, no, I'll be on Sunday, right? You're Saturday. And then here I came on. So I didn't want you to think I lied to you. It's just last second, Brooke said, forget about Facebook, YouTube, just go on TikTok both days. I said, okay, and here we are. So right. So I'll be back. So if you guys have one more question, pop it up, right? Raven, I'm in Ontario. Yeah, you guys are Canadian buddies. You guys are close. Quebec and Ontario is not too far apart, right? So one more question, and otherwise I'm gonna go, okay? And then I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do another 3 or 4 hours tomorrow. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for that. Who did that? Jenny. Thank you for that. Right. Give me hearts. I love you guys for that. So, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for joining. Join Merlin and Maeve as well. Follow Merlin and Maeve. Right? I know James says stay, please. I know I've been here for almost 4 hours. You really give a lot of great information. Thank you, Kay. It's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give you guys information, and I will be doing this. Thank you. I love you guys too. I will be doing this again, like I said, tomorrow, same time, so 10 a.m. In Australia and New South Wales. That's 3 p.m. West Coast America or West Coast North American continent, 6 p.m. East Coast North American continent. So you guys can figure out wherever you are in the world from those 30 timelines. I'll be back live on TikTok, so you guys can ask more questions. You guys have questions, please do that. That's what I came here to do. Rochelle, thank you. She said thank you for your time. Ohio. So yeah, okay, so that's mountain time. Isn't that mountain time, Ohio? I don't think you're on East Coast time. I think you're mountain. Either way, you guys will know, right? So I love you guys. I'm gonna go. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please follow me. Please like me. Merlin and Maeve was in the crowd. That's my wife and I's company. Brooke O'Neill was in the crowd. Follow her too, please. Like her stuff. Follow her. Merlin and Maeve. Right? Yeah, it's just Jesus's birthday, September 11th. Right? Yes, it is Jesus's birthday, September 11th. Yeah, that is Jesus's true birthday. At least we think it is. September 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. One of those days is Jesus's actual birthday. So there's Merlin and Maeve right there on the screen. Please follow that. That's our business. You'll get more information as to all the stuff. And there's Brooke O'Neill. She just popped up. That's my wife. She's the one that's been popping in back here talking to you guys. Follow her. Follow Merlin and Maeve. That's where we'll post all of our stuff. We'll both try to post it on Brooke, on her page and on mine as well. But this is where I'll be going live for right now. But the more you guys follow Merlin and Maeve, the more that I can start going live there and talking about our content. But I will continue going live here on Leonard O'Neill to answer your guys' question about spirituality. Tell your friends, tell your family members. You guys want to hear some information that's going to be like straight to the point, no freaking no freaking hiding, no cryptic messages. I've tried to give it to you as best I can. Okay. That's what I'm here to do. But remember, all of this is for entertainment purposes only, so TikTok doesn't boot us off the air. And keep the questions away from that powers that should not be, the controllers. If you guys want to learn more, there's my book right there in the background, The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways. Look that up. It's on sale all over the world, right? You can buy it and have it shipped to you. All right, guys, I love you very much. I will see those of you who want to be. I'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, talking tomorrow. And so if you have more questions, write them down, come in, pop them up there, and we'll answer whatever we can for you. Okay. I'm thinking the 11th is Jesus 911. I'm thinking the 11th Jesus 911. Right? Think about that. Right? 911, 9/11. That would be September 11th. Right? My birthday is September 10th, by the way. I am an ascended master. My birth number is 33. I am an ascended master. So is my wife. We're both ascended masters. Our life path. Namaste. I love you guys. Have a great night. I will see you guys, or day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good morrow, depending on where in the world you are tuning in to us. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a great night, morning, whatever it is. I love you guys.